Allegiance to our nation's flag. And there are no other ones. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We actually saw Back to the Future 2 at the Luna Theater sometime in, August or something. Noah and I went. If you're not familiar with the Luna Theater, it's at Mill 5 in Lowell, and it's a fantastic spot, big cushy chairs, little tables. Probably 40 people can watch a movie in there. It's really cool. Okay. Do we have any need to change the agenda? Anyone have any questions or changes to the agenda?
Yeah.
No. I would accept a motion to approve the agenda as written.
So, second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. We have 4 minutes to our 7:15 public hearing, so why don't we do our meeting minutes, because that's always a good time. Okay. Did anyone have any questions or notes or anything to be right in the meeting minutes?
No, I thought they were just superb.
Well, and typically I did as well, so we're on the right page. Have you been by the Stony Brook pump station?
Mm-hmm.
Not since last time.
Okay. When was the last time? Before our last meeting or after?
What? Must have been last Monday.
Okay. I drove by the other day and I didn't see anything. I just didn't know if you had been alerted by him about work they were doing. It almost looks like they're done.
No, they'll be there for a little while. I want to talk to the foreman. The only thing I mentioned about they had a big pile of earth, if you saw it, and the pile of the earth and the tube socks didn't quite line up with each other, and I just pointed out, like, oh yeah, we got extra. We can take care of that.
Excellent. All right. I have no questions about the minutes. George?
No.
Takashi?
No.
Bonnie?
No.
Brian?
No.
Excellent. You never know. I would accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 10/8/2015 as delightfully written.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. I don't think I had said delightfully before.
It's delightful. Okay, you seem to want that in there.
Really? It is 7:15. Why don't we reopen our public hearing for the notice of intent filed under DEP file number 100-0386.
Good evening.
Good evening, Robert. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So just to give everybody a heads up about what they've got in their folders, I gave Bonnie a full set of conditions, since
Okay.
you probably don't have a copy of all of the sort of the boilerplate conditions. Everybody else just has the special conditions that we wrote in special. And then in Takashi's folder, we've got 2 copies of WPA Form 5.
Excellent.
And we need to, Jess and I had a discussion where, oh, okay.
No, we were sharing. We were sharing. We thought it was all right. Go ahead.
Where there may be, technically speaking, mistakes that have been made that we should correct, and they're highlighted with big question marks when you flip through.
Excellent.
And so, Takashi, if you can have a look and be like, oh yeah, we do it a certain way, or oh yeah, this thing that you highlighted maybe doesn't really matter. So the one there, Jess mentioned that, the date always goes in there, and the way I read that had to do, it looks like the date only goes in if it's amended order.
Right, I agree with Brian.
All right, so we're gonna drop the date on that section, easy.
Okay.
And then the
I
next
defer
one.
to
I'll
Takashima.
drop you did.
um, So,
This is findings under the municipal wetlands bylaw.
yeah, so that one, if you open up the other copy, which is done up a little differently, the contrast between that highlighted section and the other drawing job in the middle.
Both yellow.
Yeah. So where does the town of Ayer, not that one, flip back to
The one with the blue?
yeah, right there. Do we put our order of conditions there?
In our special conditions.
Sorry, yeah. Or in the other one? Because it looks like the one
Yeah.
you're holding.
So what I would do is, and I guess defer to what Bonnie has, do you have them separated out as special conditions under the state act and then special conditions under the bylaw?
Well, the way that's written, you actually flip back one more page, it looks like it only applies if the stormwater regs come into play.
I would disagree with that. And I don't think our bylaw really has enough teeth that warrant any
But if you look
special
at,
conditions under our bylaw, but
yeah,
if there are special conditions under the state act, they would go on page 9. You would say see attachment, whatever.
Right.
And then if there are special conditions under the bylaw, you would fill this out with yes, Ayer, cite the chapter in the town code, and then say see attachments, special conditions under the bylaw. But I don't know that we have any of those, so.
yeah,
Well,
we don't really.
this is a better
We don't
question
have
because
anything.
all of
It's very
this
general.
Well,
looks to be
So I guess
subsumed
there's
under
two ways to look at that, because
this.
it's wide open.
No,
It
so
could be under our bylaw.
that's true, but this is the way we do it in Groton is this is a separate. It's not necessarily tied to number 19.
Because it looks like this is 19A, 19B.
If I may, I hope you're enjoying this. It's, your application is uncontentious, so this is a great time to have these discussions,
Yeah.
as opposed to if you were sitting there with counsel waiting to pounce on our every word.
I'd take your time.
Just saying.
Because it looks like on condition 19, which is where we've been putting all our special conditions,
That's how most.
but for like a single-family house, you check no stormwater standards don't
Right.
apply.
But we would still put special conditions.
But it
Depending
looks
on
like
work.
the special conditions where we've been putting it fall under, yes, they do apply along with all these others.
I would continue to put them there.
Okay, so,
I mean,
yeah,
upon appeal, I don't think that it wouldn't be flagged upon appeal as
okay,
being an incorrect procedure.
okay,
Right.
Because this is how we do it in Groton. We've been appealed a couple times and it's never been.
okay.
So how are the kids?
So the moral of the story is, I don't think I'm going to hand you this paperwork right now.
Okay. When do you think you might hand it to me?
I don't know, when would you like it?
When's your construction schedule?
My client would like to get going as soon as possible.
Okay. So what do we need to do? Just amend the paperwork? Because,
If you give me like literally 2 minutes, I'll just go upstairs and put everything in the right box. And then I could run down and bring it back.
well, I was just going to say, so...
Because he's the only thing on the agenda this evening.
No, certainly. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Not
I
at
don't have
all.
any problem with it. That's
Okay.
wonderful. I would prefer that we're Johnny on the spot, or in this case,
And it's much appreciated.
Brian on the spot. Okay, so we have before us the special conditions.
Yep.
Okay, so if everyone can check these, did you get a copy of these?
I did. We looked at them.
Did you have any issue with them, sir?
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, just one question, generally speaking.
Sure.
Do you always require an as-built on all projects?
You know what's funny is that we do.
Okay.
And I have a feeling it's one of the reasons why we don't have a lot of certificates of compliance. So,
Oh, I see what you...
well, because somebody says, oh, geez, I'm going to close this project out, and now it's going to cost me money.
Right.
Huh. So it's one of the things that we're actually going to take up next.
Okay.
Kind of excited about it. Okay. I think one of the biggest ones, was the condition about the stumps on the bank. So if I may, who was able to visit on the Saturday? George is there? Okay. You skipped out? Nice.
Yet again, he had other things to do in Groton for their conservation commission.
It's like a broken record. Brian, you had a chance to swing by the place? Great, great. Okay, so everybody's familiar with the lay of the land, the area. Do you know the house?
I don't think so.
I promise you do. So if you were standing on Central facing the beach,
Uh-huh.
the house to the right, and then there's another house just to the right of it in an area that drops down, and it's the house on the very right inside that two-house area.
Okay.
Dark green.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
It's before the house that's up on the side of the road that got solar panels.
Okay.
Okay. We talked about the grading. We talked about how we were going to deal with roof water. We talked about erosion control, and we talked about the trees on the bank, and we talked about the fact that the house is going to be torn down, and as it's pulled away, obviously the erosion control will be in place first. Anybody have any further questions about this or the project?
No.
Excellent. And you have no issues with the...
No issue.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, we have been going off of the as-built plan because it's a state requirement, correct?
It's, I don't know if it's a requirement, but it's definitely recommended.
I didn't remember where it came from, but at one point, we added it into our boilerplate, and I don't know if it was after one of those wonderful MACC meetings or, but it was, I just don't remember if it was a requirement or a recommendation.
All right, so then while I'm off finishing that,
Well, there's no reason not to leave it in for now. It is a good idea. It's a good idea for everyone. And it's an especially good idea because one of the problems that you can run into is that if you don't have an as-built that shows what happened on the project, then it's pretty hard later on to say, well, that's what it looked like in 2015 when you finished. So, okay, if there's no further discussion, anything further from you, sir?
Nope, I'm good.
Wonderful. I would accept a motion to issue the order of conditions for DEP file number 100-0386.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and since we're going to go up and sign off, and the special conditions have already been reviewed, why don't we go ahead and close this public hearing right now? I would accept a motion to close the public hearing for 100-0386.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Excellent. Why don't you go tell me?
yeah, and then while you're amusing yourselves, the two things that I handed out at the end here, this is what we were talking about last week, the map
Yes.
of parcels.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah, I'm actually a little flustered because it didn't turn out quite the way it was supposed to. If you squint real hard at the legend where the red and the black boxes are, you'll see those lines go in two different directions.
Yes.
And then if you squint really hard at the different parcels, you'll see which ones there's actually crossings.
Does
And
this
then-
come with the magnifying glass?
Yeah.
Glasses?
So that should have turned out at a much greater width apart of the lines.
It's not going to work for me.
So that was a little annoying.
Yeah, some of it is clearly hashed, and some of it does have the lines going in one direction. So this one says wetlands.
Yeah.
That one's both. Oh, sweet Moses.
Yeah. So it's just really annoying. The other thing that I gave you, the big thick stapled together printout that Takeshi was just skimming through, that's from the meeting, the conference on Saturday. On page 2, there's a little section that says all of the underlined underlined portions of the notes to each of the slides are suggestions that could be turned into orders of conditions having to do with wetland replication and contractor oversight and that sort of stuff. And so that's why, they're not, I didn't print out all 60 pages. This is page 1, 3, 10, 45.
No, that's perfect. We can go through those. By the way, if
Yeah.
you want to, the secret is to take a picture of it with your phone and then blow it up and you can read them.
But anyway, so I'll be back in a little bit. And
It doesn't actually come with the phone, no. But if you have a flip phone, what you can do is you can buy a bottle of water and hold that over just like what was his name? Nicolas Cage did in, remember that? Nicolas Cage in National Treasure? He took a bottle of water and he held it up to the map to use as a magnifying glass. It was actually pretty smart. It doesn't work, but it was pretty smart. Okay, so let's see. So that's that. This is this. These are the standards. Wow. So they're all the way out of hay bales, huh? Location of hay bales on site is prohibited.
Where are you?
I'm on the standard
Oh,
conditions for
standard
wetlands orders to prevent the introduction of invasive plant species on construction sites, according to MACC, June 8th, 2006.
Yeah. Purple loose stripe seeds.
2006. Silt sacks with rice straw? Let's just find out if I can buy any. Yeah? Around here?
Yeah, I think so. Get them an Agway. Oh, I used it. I guess they're open again. Is it?
Yeah, yeah,
Different
yeah.
name, but
Yeah.
Hmm.
Rice straw. Rice straw for sale.
How much are they?
Beautiful girl, handmade with dried rice. That's not what I'm looking for. The rice straw market in California. Here we go. Certified weed-free forage and straw available in California. I'm not making this up. Alibaba? Isn't that the Chinese?
yeah,
Isn't that the Chinese Amazon?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not doing so well. California. Here, let's see. Hold on.
I think you need to narrow the search to include. Most contractors call them wattles, the straw
Let's
wattles.
do that. Let's do rice straw wattles. MA. BPC 8-inch by 25 straw wattles at the Home Depot. It doesn't say rice straw. Bridgewater Farm. No, but that's straw.
Hmm.
Hay. Yeah, okay, so this is straw or hay, which wouldn't that put us in the same boat as a hay bale?
Hmm.
Okay, hold on. Ooh.
It depends when they cut the grass, right, to make the hay? Because,
I guess it depends on where it is, but so then you're just tracking the same thing. Straw wattles are tubes of rice straw used for erosion control, sediment control. AEC Premier Straw Wattles, finest available agricultural straw fibers encased in durable netting. Tennessee. I would think that our issue around here would be the availability of rice straw, right?
Yeah.
mhm.
I don't imagine as much. Can you grow rice at here at all? I wouldn't think so.
Minnesota, I think, is probably the closest state.
You think we
For
can grow
rice?
rice in Minnesota?
Yeah,
Wild rice.
wild rice.
Wild rice.
Yeah.
Well, if you can grow rice in Minnesota, you better be able to grow it here.
Don't
My
forget you
uncle
have to
grows
have
it.
2 copies, one for file and one for Mass DEP.
But he only needs this one. Arkansas is the
see.
place where other rice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's like large amounts.
I would think anywhere south, right? They'd have the heat and the wet. And
Yeah,
Need our special
cotton,
conditions.
more like
Sure,
cotton
sure,
down
sure.
there.
Technically,
Cotton
no.
wattles.
I just don't think rice
There was
grows here like that.
no, we didn't change anything.
That's me.
He's got a copy.
Yeah, but for, because this
He
is
needs
for
a
the,
paper
this is
copy.
for the applicant, really.
It goes to the registry, that one.
Yeah.
This is the best way for lessons to stick in my experience. Stairs. And he's going to take the elevator. So really, this isn't going to stick at all.
We were to disable it.
Okay. not sure that we do very well. I think we're better to do the bark mulch. But boy, those have got to be pretty darn heavy. And don't they usually blow those in place when they do the bark mulch ones? Didn't we see them doing those? They lay the sock out and they... Yeah, I don't know that you'd...
I don't see bark mulch used very often. I don't know what.
I see fabric.
Didn't we see them using the bark mulch ones at Autumn Ridge?
Maybe.
I think it was Autumn Ridge that they did, and they laid the socks out and they blew it right into the socks.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I thought it was Autumn Ridge. Becky was telling me that. I didn't see them doing it.
Is there a preference for one versus another?
Well, according to this, the idea is to avoid the hay, which is unfortunately what most of those silk sacks are made of.
Right. What about the filter fabric? I see the black.
Well, that usually, staked filter fabric usually has to be backed with something.
To keep it in place?
Well, because otherwise it's just it's not as much of an impediment as you might think.
Yeah, yeah.
Water has I think the most interesting thing that we saw was the day we were over at Autumn Ridge, and they were having the issue with some of the, as you came in, some of the buildings on the right, and they were getting inundated by water off the hill. And so it's a field, they grow hay there, and the water was sheet flowing off the hill. It was like, holy smokes, I'd never seen anything like it before. Never seen that happen. How could that happen? Oh, because they've been growing and fertilizing hay for so long that the root mass must have been so incredibly dense that water sheet flowed off of it like it was pavement.
Wow.
Intense. Okay. So, so that water has momentum, and
And it
better
just
hit
pushes
was
it.
better.
Yeah.
Better stop it with something.
Yeah.
But you got, yeah. We have to sign the order of conditions.
I'm pumped to do so.
Okay. Bill always signs it first. And that's what we also need copies.
It's a
We
gift.
need copies of the signature page and also the CDP.
That's what you were getting at.
Yes, that's what I was.
Just so I'm 100% correct, Hagel LLC was what you wanted to appear, correct? Okay. I remember there was a change. I just didn't want to sign off or think that I had messed it up. We did a quick Google search on rice straw and found a number of suppliers in California and Tennessee, but didn't do quite so well here in Massachusetts.
Oh, the invasive one?
Yeah, for the erosion controls, and we're wondering maybe better to recommend bark mulch, which can be blown in around. I'd swear it was Autumn Ridge where they laid out the sacks and then they run the hose in and they fill it with bark mulch and just pull the hose out as they go.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's not something you would buy in a roll and drop on the ground and roll out.
Mm-hmm.
That would have to be the hay, which is what you're apparently trying to avoid with the removal of the hay bales. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if one is.
Are they recommending
Because
the
if you
rice
can look at
straw
that,
or
then you want to
straw
buy it.
Delivery.
No, it says silt sack products made with rice straw and other weed-free products. What'd you do to him there?
Nothing.
Did you send him to copy it?
No, I didn't. He's going to because he can't give it to Rob without us having a copy of the signature page or the state getting a copy of the signature page. And we did put on there that it's hand delivered on today's date. So
Excellent.
yes, he'll get used to it.
Just waiting for the ding.
Oh no, he's using the copier right here. Nice and
And
handy.
just for your information, if you YouTube or Google the silt sack with the mulch,
Yeah.
there are videos of them filling it, blowing
Yeah.
it in.
Hmm.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it can't
In a
be.
nerdy sort of way.
It can't be that hard. I accidentally one night stumbled on how they made
Seems that
white
way.
cedar
Thank you.
shingles out in Oregon, and they're the extra thick butts, 1 inch thick
Do
shingles
you want
at
the
the
whole
butt.
thing stapled?
2 feet.
Do you want
plus
it all
long.
stapled
It's
together?
incredible. Yeah, that was a really cool video.
That close. It's just a little staple.
It's your first order of conditions. It's his first order of conditions.
That was pretty exciting, and overall. Okay.
Good, workout.
So we heard the elevator. So we covered the question about how the how the conditions are gonna land. Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Thank you.
We covered that, we covered, I think that's everything, and we learned to make 2 copies up ahead. Okay.
Well, I wanted to make sure we did it right over here, you know, the question for Takashi, and, you know, maybe...
No, you did exactly the right thing. I'm just saying, this is how we figure stuff out. That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah, this will be a good memory for a long time. I'll remember that one time.
There's no way
you
you'll
on the
remember it.
agenda.
No way you remember it.
Hey, Takashi,
Yeah.
for certificates of compliance, you no longer send those to the state anymore,
I believe that's correct.
but you do send,
I believe that's correct. No certificates of compliance and no extensions.
but you do send orders of conditions.
Orders of condition, determinations,
Of applicability,
Applicability.
ORADs,
ORADs, enforcement orders.
enforcement.
I just follow the instructions at the end of the form when it says, you know, please send 2 copies here and 1 copy there.
Yeah,
It's a no-brainer.
the DEP did send out, and this was several months ago, wasn't even a reminder, it was a
Please
new,
stop.
yeah, basically, please stop sending us these, and these, but please continue to send these, and these. If you remember to,
So the 2014 forms that I just picked up as we were using the older forms.
yeah,
So the 2014 forms then are also out of date in the sense of if it says send it, there may have been a...
maybe, yeah. So if I remember it, I'll send you that email. If you remember to think of it, ask me to send you that email.
Watch this, here we
Okay,
go.
too.
Very good.
Okay. Why don't we jump to our next conservation restriction on Sandy Pond 3 by CNF Builders. So unfortunately, I did not have a chance to check in with Smolik and Haig or whatever their name was.
That's okay, they no longer represent them.
Well, that's easy for them. Do we have any information on who does represent CNF Builders?
No. What we have, let's go to that note. Amanda
Benoit.
Benoit.
Yeah.
Like the last syllable on her name, you just drop it.
How do you spell it?
Veinotte. She has been sending them mail for a long time, and nothing has happened. So she was actually thrilled to get a call from me because there's somebody else who basically cares at all what happens with that file. So we actually had a bit of a giggle fest because I was like, so has this happened? And she was like, nope. I was like, can you make that happen? Nope. And she said, have you done this? I said, nope. And she said, can you make that happen? And I said, nope. And
Well,
we
so
kind of
let's talk
repeated
about
that
that.
over and over and over.
So why? So hold on. So she can't make it happen?
No, the impetus for any of this paperwork has to come from them.
From the,
Like the builder or the lawyers or somebody has to say, hey, we'd like to do this job. Here's our paperwork. Can you please run it through your system and get all the signatures and da-da-da-da-da and get it back to us? It's got to be them that initiates the process.
That's not good at all.
And so I got David Murray's cell phone and I left him a voicemail. And I shared that with Amanda because as far as I know, she didn't have his cell phone number.
who's David Murray?
David Murray was the guy in the truck who we met that day out on the site. He's the guy who was actually doing the work for Ranger. He was a Ranger guy.
And I also emailed him and basically said, we'd love to tie this up, but you need to start the process. And we'll see. Based on Amanda's experience, I kind of expect him to blow me off.
Well, so let's talk about what that means. So when we did this, we were apparently foolish and naive, which I can live with every day of the week, because you got to learn your lessons. However, what I can't deal with is that this means that obviously we're going to be stuck because we didn't do it on this one. Did she have? I would say that probably going forward, we'd probably have to do something with a bond. Either that or hold up work until it's executed, but that could take months.
Could we actually, would that be something that we could put in a stronger local bylaw or regulation?
Well, I'm sure it is something we could put in a
Special
on a stronger bylaw.
Special condition in our order of conditions?
Well, but I think that, so think about it though. So right now, the state put it in their order of conditions and they can't force them to do it.
Yeah.
So the right thing to do would be to, or they're in their requirement. So the smarter thing to do would be to make it about money. I mean, that's what seems to make the most sense to me. Make it about money, it happens.
In Groton, the concept used to do that. In some cases, put in the conditions about bonds. On advice of Groton Town Council, they were told not to do that. And
Really?
that I believe the bonding should only happen through planning board.
Okay. So how do we give teeth to something that somebody doesn't want to do?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Right? Because if it's wrapped around a
So,
stack of cash, I'm pretty sure he'll do it.
Well, I know that in the language in the state permit, there is something tied to the issuance of occupancy permits and that sort of thing. So there's a way to encourage the developer to follow through on obligations, because if he or she doesn't, they can't sell their houses.
Well, we could certainly do that. That
I
would
think
be.
that's the only way to. Oh, that's the only that I know of that.
But I don't know that we can prevent occupancy through our order.
As long as it's consistent with what the state's conditions are for the conservation and management permit, because that's what drives the CR and all that.
Well, actually,
So we,
no. To your point. So hold on. So all we have to do is make it one of the conditions. As soon as they sign it, they accept by signature that none of the houses can be sold. That no house can be occupied prior to the issuance of the construction of the conservation restriction, and then we pass that off to the building inspector and say, the applicant has agreed to this condition. Please come see us before issuing a certificate of occupancy.
right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be no houses can be sold. I mean, if there's a way to structure so that the builder can build and maybe make a little bit of
Yeah, get started.
Get started, yeah.
Well, and that would
then-
also be consistent with the fact that it's not going to be a 15-minute ordeal for him
Right.
to get his CR.
Right.
So if we said that, after we could come up with some crazy wording like that one with the presidents.
We can just lift it verbatim.
We could just modify it. We could tweak it.
Can I be absent that meeting?
Wise choice. Something along the lines of 1 year after the beginning of construction, that no occupancy permits will be issued.
Yeah, I think there's a way to,
unless the CR has been. We could even put. So remember, the CR is generated, then it has to be signed by. Was it the Board of Selectmen?
It has to be.
Did it go to the state first?
No, it goes to us first,
Yeah.
and well, it has to be vetted by the state first, and just in terms of the language.
Right.
Then we sign it, then the selectmen sign it, and then it goes to the state,
They sign
and
it.
they sign it, and then it can be recorded.
Okay, so we could put something in there that said, you must be, so your project is 25 houses. After the 5th house, no other houses may be occupied unless the document has been submitted to the state. After the 10th house, no further houses can be occupied unless the vetted document is back for signature with the town, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
Something along those
I think
lines.
I've seen language like that. I think I've seen it in the state permit, the conservation management permit, but as through the order of conditions, you could either refer to those state
Yeah.
conditions or just put them in again in the order of conditions.
I think the secret in that case would be probably something along the lines of making sure that you were done at half. Look at some of the projects we've seen, right? How long did it take Ranger Development to build out that development?
Right.
10 years? Maybe longer.
Right.
So, there's no teeth in it if it's a 10-year project. So,
The other thing, and I don't know what kind of conditions the state put on the on Ranger for Sandy Pond 3, but I know that on one of the big projects in Groton, Academy Hill in West Groton, one of the conditions of the state permit, the conservation permit, was that the developer had to establish a couple of escrow accounts. That would essentially be like a bonding,
Sure.
except the money went directly into a couple of accounts controlled by the Conservation Commission. And so if the developer fails before the thing is done, or the homeowners association at some point fails after the thing is done, because they're the ones who become responsible for the meeting the compliance with the conservation permit to the state.
Right.
If at any point there's a breakdown, then there's an account in escrow that can then be used to at least fulfill the whatever maintenance requirements
Okay.
that may be needed for that. So.
We're on the same
Yeah.
page. I mean, I'm not entirely
But
sure
again, it's driven
what
by
the
the state.
huge difference is between bonding and escrow. We're at the same basic point.
Yeah,
We're going to hold your money and you have no choice in it, because that's the only way to make sure that you complete your obligation.
I think there's some kind of legal difference.
Sure.
Where apparently the escrow account is something that's okay for the Conservation Commission to have.
But bonding is not.
But, yeah, and I don't know why. So that's a question for maybe for the town administrator to run by.
What's
the town
the
council.
relationship to the planning board in the sense of, bonding is
Well,
something we can touch?
At least in
but
Groton, the
gas
planning
nicely.
board does have the authority or ability to require and manage, I guess.
I wonder if
the
it's
bonding
because,
process.
I wonder
I
if it's
just meant
because they're
here in
elected.
town, if we did that.
Yeah,
if we
I don't-
asked them nicely, would they do our bidding, essentially?
Well, no, they don't. I don't think they necessarily do it on behalf of the Conservation Commission. I think they simply, especially for larger projects where if they fail, then,
I don't think it's something they can hand out, if you will.
right.
I don't think it's something you show up and you say, hey, we need these guys we need these guys
Mhm.
bonded, can you come to our meeting on Tuesday? It's more along the lines of, they have the authority probably under the auspices of what they are doing, under their jurisdiction. So they couldn't offer up bonding under another jurisdiction.
So if the planning board wanted to bond something to ensure a conservation easement went through, that would be outside the scope of their,
They don't have
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction under our law.
yeah.
So we're chapter 131. No, sorry, I was messing up. Chapter 40, section 131, right? So they are under different rules and requirements, and if they're planning board, they're town-based.
And everything's kept very compartmentalized and clean and separate, yeah.
It's supposed to be, that's why there's two separate boards.
That's fair.
No, we should definitely, so we haven't had a CR since, Jess, I think you had just started. When we did,
2008, yeah.
Orion.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one we had.
Okay.
So, well, that's an interesting thing, right? Because we took her outright. We didn't have to do a CR. So,
We're supposed to.
we were, or we are.
Did we get that money through CPC?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the warrant article, we're supposed to have one.
It's gonna be a big week. So first things first. So we've reached out to Ranger, but quite frankly, unless he does it, we're out of luck.
I may have an idea.
Okay,
That has to do with 6 Wright Road,
okay.
because the cops were suggested. And I went to the cops and they said, actually, we'd rather not do that quite yet. The town constable is a good idea.
Oh, okay.
And so
So,
the town constable actually went and served those papers.
yeah, I saw that in the packet here.
Did-
And
So-
she sent me an email and said, I got your message and, when would you like me to come in?
Great.
And I'm wondering perhaps if writing a letter and having the constable deliver it for us might encourage Mr. Murray to,
Well, so the only concern I have is the last time I was up there, they don't even have a construction trailer. They don't even have an office up there.
No.
You really, you know what I mean? It'd be really
Yeah.
catch as catch can to find him on site. It's a good idea.
And maybe not necessarily on site. I don't know, is there technically an office in Ayer that's not the construction site?
No, they have nothing here. Maybe the right thing to do is to start out by sending them a nice letter off to their CNF builder's office and say, as you're aware, you're finishing up your project,
That's one of the giggles that Amanda and I had, because she's been sending these letters for like years. So So mail, you know, this is, from the sound of Amanda's story, you need to get into finding somebody, looking them in the eye and having a conversation and getting a promise. Because they're just blowing it off.
You don't sound like someone who's had a lot of experience talking to builders. What maybe the best thing to do in this case is actually to take it up with Gabe and talk to Gabe about where we are with these guys. They're not done selling houses. So maybe the best thing to do is to take it up with Gabe and find out what his comfort level is, since we are talking about a state enforcement. They're required to do this under their permitting under the state, and Gabe may agree that that is a reason for him to not issue an occupancy permit simply because they're out of compliance with their state requirements. And he may also say that they're two separate and he doesn't have that ability, but there's always the chance
Good
that
idea. Yeah.
well, there's always the chance that he agrees, and that would really be the only best way for us to reach this builder, because the builder will be forced to come to see Gabe no matter what. So there's no way out of that. Whereas obviously if he's ignored the state's request for many years, that might also play into Gabe's thinking, as far as obviously the builder is not interested in fulfilling his obligations to the state. Maybe the right thing to do is to get an answer from Amanda, or even an email from Amanda that says how long she's been sending these emails.
Yeah.
And then we can pop that off to Gabe and say, Gabe, we just wanted to bring this to your attention. We're having a real issue here. This particular builder, under his state permit that he agreed to, required that he issue this conservation restriction. He has avoided answering the state since 2004. And looks like he's finishing up the last houses on the project. We would like your assistance in holding up any further progress on the project until he fulfills his state requirement. Seems like a pretty reasonable thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Logical, clean.
And again, Gabe might say, well, I can't do that, but thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Or Gabe might say, no, you're right, that falls under the permitting obligation, and if he's not meeting his permitting obligation, then we're on hold until he does.
You know, with 5 Ledgeway, they wanted something, oh, now I'm blanking on the detail, but the current owner, the one who built the house, wanted the occupancy permit.
Yeah.
She talked to Gabe about getting the occupancy permit. He wanted to delay because there were some abutter issues, as you might recall, until got the okay from us. And so I think I texted you. You said fine.
Yeah. But
And so he was willing in that situation because it was a contentious
sure.
situation.
But in that situation, right? He was saying he was concerned that the abutter had brought something up
Right.
that we then had to investigate,
Right.
which is very appropriate on his part.
Right.
My only concern is this isn't about them being out of compliance with a wetland regulation. This is them being out of compliance with something that they promised to do.
Right.
So I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know what his take will be on it, but I mean, if you're Gabe and the answer is that they're out of compliance with their state permit, that does seem like a big enough issue to hold up and say you really got to get this fixed.
Yeah, or even if you just went so far as to say, well, go talk to the Conservation Commission or the state first and get me a reply.
Right.
It's just something along those lines.
The best part about it would be if you have the letter, anything from Amanda that you can put in front of Gabe that he can hang his hat on. That gives him the ability to say, hold on a second, you're clearly not meeting your obligation.
Yeah, he doesn't need to give me a call or call one of you guys every time a question was asked about what has or hasn't been done.
I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did. But in this particular case, having the letter from the state gives him the ability to hand it right to the same person who meets with him and say, these people say you're out of compliance. I'm kind of stuck. I can't go forward until you fix this. So having him be able to reference the state action would be helpful.
Yeah, I'll chat with Amanda, or at least I'll leave her a voicemail on Monday.
Kills me every single time we say that name. Every single time. Do you remember The Simpsons?
No.
Bart called up, I'm looking for Miss Hug and Kiss, first name Amanda. He goes, I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss. Why can't I find Amanda Hug and Kiss? Barney goes, maybe your standards are too high. Remember?
Wow, your Bernie voice is a little, that's a little too good. Do
All right.
do you do characters on the weekends, like the puppet shows?
Just on weekends. Just on weekends. I also do a very good Mo, but I decided not to do it at this very moment.
That's a shame.
Okay.
Sending loads of Halloween here. This would be great fun.
All right. So, if we can get a letter from Amanda
Mm-hmm.
Vinoy and send that to Gabe, that seems like that would at least be our best option to engage local permitting
Mm-hmm.
with state permitting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody have any other thoughts on that?
Well, that sounds like a good.
Yeah.
Are you not brimming with optimism?
No, not really.
Okay. I'd be really disrupted if you were. Okay. It is now 7:25-ish. Let's talk about our geosyntech draft report. So I did open this the other day, and I started to peruse it, and I got into something I should have been doing otherwise. Has anyone had a chance to go over the project? I did see the executive summary, which was different.
I got in just past 50 pages.
So we sat here one day. Do you have your notes from the night when we went through line by line, piece by piece?
In the minutes?
In the minutes. Delightfully written.
Delightfully written, but do you remember about when it was? Oh, it was this summer, wasn't it?
It was adorable. No.
Give me a
I
minute.
think it was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was this. Actually, it would have been July, I think.
I was gonna say June.
Yeah.
No, it was before he went on vacation. I'm thinking May.
July 23rd was when
No.
Bob Hartzell came in.
Yeah, exactly. No, we went through page by page,
There's
piece by piece
one.
before that.
Right.
And he didn't show up for like a month and a half after we
And
went through
then-
page by page, piece by piece.
Okay, July 23rd, June 25th. What's that?
You said this wasn't going to be fun.
Who said that?
I was talking to myself. No, this is the one. This is the one here.
June 25th?
June 25th.
Yeah.
June 25th. So the scope of work is detailed in Geosyntax Biological Survey Assessment Management Recommendation for Ferris Ponds Proposal. Final revision there, October 21st, 2013, exactly 2 years before Back to the Future 2 date. Was reviewed concurrently with discussion of the current drafts as submitted. The signed contract dated July 25th, 2014, which references this proposal was also reviewed. Task 1, baseline water quality and aquatic vegetation sampling. Submitted data regarded as fundamentally on track to completion. Water quality sampling, a draft report in this review is either pending or missing. Then we received a water quality after, and let's see if we reviewed it in here. Did we not discuss it?
Where?
Did we have a meeting between the two? We must have. Do you have meeting minutes for the beginning of July?
No, I seem to be
Because
missing.
there was a portion
Yeah.
that came out after our meeting, like
Right.
the night day of our meeting.
I seem to be missing the July
July 9th?
set in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
My stars.
Luckily, we have the internet to solve that problem.
Yeah.
It's the
Internets.
interwebs.
Ooh, intraweb. Is it the interweb or the intraweb?
Just depends on the day. Are you Comcast or are you Verizon?
Who?
You.
I'm Comcast. now.
That's right. Okay.
Okay.
I just didn't want to mess it up. Here we go. 7-9
Okay.
minutes.
All right. I do seem to not have a copy of those in here.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
We put it a different way. I think we can live with it. Okay, water quality. Okay, so let's go through the list. So I'm going to hold this one out as the most important one. So number 1.1 aquatic vegetation surveys we said was on track. 1.2 had not come out. Here it was, our notes. Raw data was given in some parts of the report without a reference range to provide context for evaluating results. We didn't know if an upper eutrophic range was good or bad. What about ammonia and nitrogen? What do they signify? We needed more detail, more explanations, and more assessments. Mr. Miller said his committee is looking for real recommendations. JG said she'd like information assessing where, under current conditions, each pond is heading to determine what management interventions need to take place. Okay, so we were still not happy with water quality. Task 2.
The email that I sent this around with, it has their list of the same things, doesn't it?
Okay, we're going to go through it in a second. I just wanted to go back to when we went literally page by page, word by word, and did an assessment so we wouldn't lose anything.
Step by step,
Pollut-
inch by inch.
Pollutant loading analysis. Are we
Three
doing 80
Stooges.
songs?
Three Stooges, Niagara Falls. Thank you, Mike. Step by step.
Slowly I turn.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Three Stooges.
Three Stooges.
Oh, I never actually watched the Three Stooges.
I watched them, I didn't memorize them.
I don't remember.
That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. If you watch a movie, your job is to memorize the lines and then repeat them back to a woman who doesn't want to hear it. That's your job in life.
The Three Stooges you could mute and it was just as funny as if
We
the
stopped
sound
watching.
was up.
I can do
That
all.
was a curly life.
I can do all the Back to the Future, and especially I can do all of the Toy Story movies. You can at least watch the Toy Story movies. There's no princesses in there.
That's good to know.
Buzz and
It's
Woody.
really sad.
Just the third one. The third one.
Even the first one, bittersweet.
I don't know. He did fall and not fly. Pollutant source assessment task 2.1. Submitted draft was examined. Email from Mark Wetzel, extremely pleased. BMP recommendations, a good draft is missing information such as relevant considerations such as permitting issues and landowner easement issues. Remember we were talking about this. He had all sorts of great ideas. Do this here, do that here, do this here. Okay, so what's that going to take? Looks like we need an easement. Were you inside of the roadway? Were you outside of the roadway? What do we have to do with these landlords? Or residents, I guess you'd use. Land use assessment, phosphorus loading budget model, detailed information on land use assessment was not included in the draft. Okay, so really task 2 was not so good.
Which minutes are you on right now?
625.
I'm just reading along with you.
I see.
Yeah.
Aquatic vegetation management requires further work in detail. Our biggest issue with that one was, of course, there was no analysis. There was no do this. And then task 4 is Grove Pond, which is just Grove Pond.
It's just.
All right. Phosphorus models, the narratives were generic, little assessment. Provide good data, but it's not tied together. How do we go to town meeting with a detailed assessment and suggested plan? It's always fun quoting myself. Okay. Now. There we go. Here it is. Let's see what we came up with. Too fast. Okay. George, did you have a chance to read through this?
No.
Jess, did you?
No, I didn't yet.
Tash?
No.
Bonnie?
I read part of it, but not all of it.
Oh, she's trying to show us off.
So the fact that I actually got into the executive summary far enough to know that there was an executive summary, that's just wrong.
So what I would like is to set some kind of deadline for you guys and for the bonds committee to come up with a new batch of observations, edits, complaints, and observations to batch together and turn in.
I would agree. So our next meeting is what, November 12th?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any hard
Wow.
copies available? of that, or-
No.
No.
If you want one, he'll send one. But or I can print one because I've got.
How many
one.
pages?
It's like 100.
Yeah, it's a little bit over 100 pages.
It's, wait a sec, I am on page, come on.
Yeah, I would ask for that.
Hmm?
I would want you to have to print out.
Let me see.
145 pages.
100.
It's 145. Wow. So
If
what-
only
it's a
you
lot of
worked in a
pictures.
town office or someplace where paper was free.
Wow,
All right.
So, would anybody like a hard copy?
I would,
Yeah.
if it's not.
Oh, but you don't have to do it right now.
Yeah, don't do it.
No, don't do it right
Well,
now.
actually, you know
Yeah,
what,
that's
so
gonna
let's
take a
go
long
through.
time.
Hmm?
To print.
Well,
Yeah, just run them off, and by the time they're done,
that's probably not a bad idea. Go hit print.
Go hit print. Yeah,
Okay.
go hit print. Come on, Brian.
So that's a good idea to meet with.
How many,
Long
3?
committee.
You say 3?
Have a joint meeting?
Bonnie, do you want a copy? Or,
I can print one at work.
okay.
3, Brian. Please and thank you.
I'm going to serve some paper here.
It's only 145 sheets.
Double-sided.
We paid $80,000 for it. I really don't think it's a big deal. That's just me.
So do towns come up, when they do a plan, do they maybe come up with 3 plans, like an aggressive plan, like a moderate kind of plan, least aggressive, and then kind of,
What kind of plan?
Are you a financial advisor?
no.
No?
Only to my husband. Don't spend any money.
No, I think we just
Um,
try to come up with a plan.
Just a plan. You want a
Well,
plan.
We're lucky
Well,
to
the
get a
idea
plan.
is that it isn't so
Because-
much aggressive or not
Yeah.
aggressive, as in it's just the plan that's necessary.
Yeah.
So in fact, if you think about it, if you provide gradation, that means that 2 of those aren't necessary at all.
Mm. Well, there's preventative planning, and there's the
Which would
reverse.
be, which would be the plan.
Right.
But
And there's always treatment plan, right? But you can't have one without the other, I don't think.
I think that's the whole thing. So
Yeah.
there really isn't treatment unless, there's no reason for treatment unless you're doing prevention.
Right.
You're doing treatment so that it stops and doesn't come back, and then you're doing follow-up treatments for elimination.
Right. Or mitigating somehow. A
Right.
little bit
It's
of
never going
mitigation.
away.
Right. It's never going to go away.
Going away.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Like a 22-year-old out of college.
What?
Just things I'm prepping for. I'm switching all my dad jokes from high school to college jokes now. Jacob's a senior.
Yeah, wasn't it, anytime anybody said Niagara Falls,
Yeah, I
they'd
think
have
they
to
were-
whip around going,
They were-
slowly I turn, step by step.
They were hypnotized.
Yeah. It was classic.
And they said Niagara Falls, and they said,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
We remember that, but not the Back to the Future references.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know, it's like.
Because we
it's
watch
like-
so many episodes.
That even makes sense.
As you get older, you keep your long-term memory.
Is that what it is? It was 1989.
This was 1962.
Oh, it was earlier than that.
I am pleased to say that I don't have memories from 1962.
I have
was not
memories,
allowed to watch The Three Stooges, unfortunately.
it was a 50s thing.
My dad was adamant.
Well, and
Yeah.
and
look
look,
how
now
you
you're a
turned-
financial advisor, so you know it looks like it paid off.
So was my dad, but
He's
still
not gonna.
watched him.
Do you remember when South Park came out? Do you remember when?
No,
Does anybody? You know when South Park came out?
I remember it was on Saturday. Is it Saturday mornings?
Yep. Yep.
We used to sit around and watch. We used to watch Ren and Stimpy. Well, South Park wasn't on then. South Park came on after that.
Was it? Because I remember my kids would leave. Oh, we're going over to so-and-so's house.
To watch South Park. We used to sit around and it was Sunday mornings. We used to sit around and drink and watch Ren and Stimpy at college.
You know, Bub, I was once a tramp like you. Oh, congratulations. I can look back to the days of yore when I was a very happy married man. And one day that rat came and destroyed forever all the happiness I'd ever known. I'll never forget that day. I just came home from the graveyard shift, and there was a note on a pillow. What did it say? Oh, it was one of those cold-blooded notes. Dear Mo, I'm running away with Larry. I was obsessed with the idea that I must find him. The trail led me to Pittsburgh. I found that I'd missed him by 3 days when I got there, and I swore right there in Pittsburgh I'd find him and have my revenge. Now, on went the chase. Miami, Dallas, New Orleans. And then I came face to face with a rat that had ruined my life. It was in Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls! Slowly I turned, and step by step, inch by inch, I walked up to him and I smashed him. I knocked him and I knocked him down.
There you have it.
It was the original violent TV show.
It was.
Sweet bubbling Moses. That's not right. I don't let the kids watch. The kids think it's funny. They're like, Home Alone is a good movie, Dad. I'm like, you're not watching Home Alone. He smashes people in the face with paint cans. Like, it's funny. Wow. I'm going to tell them that the Stooges are awesome and that they were violent and they're not allowed to watch them. And we'll see. That'll be all I hear out of their earphones, out of their earbuds.
Yeah, I can't stand watching them now, but it was a thing.
It was a thing then. So these impervious surface maps are pretty impressive. These weren't in here before.
Better than something, Brian, when you
No. We're not dissing Brian. I'm merely saying that it's amazing how much impervious surface there is in the areas that feed, like for instance, Balch Pond. It's pretty incredible. Okay. So I'm going through, and I was just trying to, if nothing else, I wanted to get to the water quality sampling. I don't think I've missed it.
Section 1.3?
Well, maybe I did because I'm in the 2.0 tables. But there wasn't a window. Hold on. Let's go back up to the top. Yeah, see, that can't be right. So he does he's got a section on water sampling. Talks about, okay. So he talks about
Sampling results.
recommendations for continued water quality sampling.
It's 1.2.
These were 2014 samples. Here's the Latin longs. You could do the same thing. And then he says, recommended sampling parameters, associated methods, sample collection, same as those described in 1.1. Need sample bottles, cooler and ice, Kemmerer sampler to obtain nutrient samples. We have a Sean Kemmerer who works for us. That's what we do with his name. That's why I did it. Kemmerer sampler to obtain nutrient samples at specified depths, either purchased or rented. Multi-parameter in situ probe equipped with measurement of temperature, dissolved oxygen, specific conductance, and pH. Minimum 25-foot long cable to reach the bottom of Sandy Pond and Lower Long Pond. Disagree. CG disc, waterproof field notebook and Sharpie pens. 3 water quality sampling events recommended each year take place during spring, late April, early May, midsummer, early to mid-July, and late summer, early to mid-September. Sampling fees, 3 events, $1,650 per event.
So do you see table 1.2, water quality sampling results?
Yeah, but I'm at 1.3.3, which was part of what we were asking him, which was how do we keep doing this ourselves? He's saying that the lab fees for the 3 sampling events are $1,650.
Here's a question. In terms of trying to get something going in terms of an ongoing testing program, is this anything that we would have a chance of maybe working with the high school chemistry classes?
Well, I imagine, I mean, I just don't know what I don't know what we're.
Brian says no.
No,
Well, it depends on what they're taking, what they're doing with the
Yeah.
samples. We'd probably have better luck with the water department, because the water department probably takes samples, or definitely takes samples every single day of the water in this town. Every water department does. So I don't know what the difference is between what we would be collecting and analyzing and what they collect and analyze. Maybe the right thing to do is to take this information, go over to Mark and say, hey, these guys say that we're supposed to test for these things. Do you do that?
Well, if we, at our next meeting, which I don't think we have much going on, tried to bring in Pond and Dam, including Mark Wetzel, go over the report in more detail,
Well, I tell you what,
we could ask him directly.
maybe that's a good idea. See if he's got some time to come in and talk to us. Because temperature and dissolved oxygen, I don't need tests for that.
Yeah, I think the water, I mean, the water, there's a lot of other things that the town water gets tested for. It's more like heavy metals. You know, I don't think they're doing dissolved oxygen or phosphorus.
But what would it cost them to add that in?
It's a good question. What, don't we have a local lab? Don't we, what is it, Neshoba Analytical,
Yeah,
which is,
Miller Road.
yeah. I wonder if you could
Cut a deal.
cut a deal with them, yeah.
Hometown discount.
Yeah, hometown discount.
It's like buying car washes. You know, if you buy 25 up front, you get 20% off. If you buy, you know, like 1,000 samplings,
Yeah, right.
you know, maybe you get.
I think
Analytic?
Neshoba Analytical.
Yeah, Neshoba, yeah. Analytical or analytics?
Something like that.
Analytical, I think.
Just Google it.
Niagara Falls.
Okay. So according to this, they studied for dissolved oxygen, TP, which doesn't mean what you think, it's total phosphorus, chlorophyll A, pH,
TP is in the water, it's really lovely.
ammonia, nitrogen. Really hoping they don't find it.
Analytical.
He mentions in here that they did specific conductance, but I seem to remember him saying that wasn't so important.
And it's more dissolved oxygen and phosphorus and ammonia and nitrogen.
Yeah, I think that's.
It's-
So the question is, maybe the right thing to do is to send an email to Mr. Wetzel. In fact, while we're printing out paperwork, and ask him if these are things that they study. Okay. So water quality sampling was one of our big ones. This information is good in that he's telling us it's $1,650 per event. Maybe that's based on the number of samples. All right, hold on. So during each sampling event, they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Something's wrong.
10.
Something's very wrong. He's got Grove Pond deep, Grove Pond tributary, Bulge Pond deep, Bulge Pond tributary, Flanagan Pond deep, Flanagan Pond tributary, Pine Meadow, but then instead of, he doesn't even list Sandy Pond, he says Bulge Pond and then Bulge Pond again. And I think he means Sandy Pond and Long Pond, because he's got all sorts of different Latin longs.
Sandy Pond and Long Pond would be key ponds too.
On his
Peaky
water
ponds.
quality sampling locations, he has
Yeah.
Bulge Pond 6 times,
Well, I think that's probably a typo.
which is a bad thing in your final draft. But yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Because in the table, I think it's correct.
All right, so, well, this is a table. You think a table above?
It's table one, yeah, the table 1.2, because at Sandy Pond, he has four spots where he went and tested.
Right.
Flanagan Pond, again, 4 spots. Pine Meadow was 3 spots. Grove 4. Bulch was 4. Lower Pond 4.
So clearly there's the table is misaligned. We could probably type in these lats and longs, which is fun, but we're not doing it right now.
Which
And
table,
figure out which pond he meant.
which table exactly is that?
1.1.
1.1.
And the one I'm looking at is 1.2. Oh, yeah. Water quality sample locations. Huh. Oh, it's definitely a typo.
Okay. So we were worried about water quality sampling. We did get some of what we were looking for. Probably have to get a little deeper into it to figure out if we got everything we were looking for. And he goes to section 2, phosphorus budget and modeling. But is that task 2 or is that section 2 under, let's see. Phosphorus budgets. Yeah, that's got to be under pollutant assessment. Phosphorus loading. Interesting, he's got that as 2. Okay. I think we're going to have to go right back through it the same way we did the first time. That's disappointing. Okay. I'd like to make a recommendation. Folks can look through the entire thing. Why don't we make one person responsible for per section and go through it that way? Does that make sense?
That's a good idea.
Is that including the ponds people?
No, we bought it, so I just assume we do it. They're more than welcome to go through it, obviously. But I'm just saying as a group,
Fair enough.
if we break it up into 5 segments and each one of us goes through that segment and says, can I use this to stand in front of town meeting and explain something? That's got to be the parameter. Whether that something is I ask for money, or that something is I explain why we're asking for money, but that's what it's got to be about. Does this section I'm reading suggest a plan or explain my plan? Okay, so let me go down through.
So are we coming up with a plan before we go to the Board of Selectmen?
No, well,
Oh.
absolutely, before we go to town meeting.
Before we,
And Pound and Dam Committee would be part of that,
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
So the idea is
But-
to say, what you're reading in here, does this give you the information that you need to go forward? And the only way to do that,
To develop a
Okay.
plan, to then take to the Board of Selectmen and town meeting.
So there may be additional information that we may need that we don't have in this report?
well, the point of this report was, in fact, in fact, we should probably make sure that you have a copy of the original,
Okay.
when we got our proposal from them, we used that proposal to define the scope of work, which is what we used to review the report. And in the report, it said, here's your water quality, you're going to have these portions. And that was how we went section by section. We said, okay, did they deliver on this? Did they deliver on that? How did we feel? Do we have enough information? Do we need more? So that was in June. Excuse me. On July 23rd, Bob Hartzell, who's the consultant, Geosyntec, he came in and we told him what we were missing. And we told him how we wanted to develop an ongoing future sampling plan. So he's given us that information in here. Reviewed the draft assessment, draft material on water quality. We had referenced the scope of work for the project, generating questions and comments. So I'm not sure if we got down in here. So I'm just tabbing down. Here we go. Aquatic plant management recommendations. So, here we go. 3.3.1 Bulge Pond. What should you do? Nothing. Interesting. Okay. Grove Pond. Eradication is not feasible. Options include whole pond chemical treatments, spot treatment, given the shadow depth and limited recreational use, aggressive and repeated efforts to control vegetation are not recommended. Okay? Lower Long Pond. Did we ask you to do Lower Long Pond? I didn't
Is
even
that
know they
the one-
went to Lower Long Pond.
That's the one on
Yeah, he said that was the
Cowley's
most.
property, right? Yeah.
Right. How do you get in there?
Yeah.
Public access via dock on Loon Hill Road. That's not Lower Long Pond, that's Long
That's
Pond.
Long Pond, yeah.
Regionally significant example of a healthy and diverse aquatic plant community. Right, this is the one, yeah, this is Long Pond.
Hmm.
Okay, so vegetation monitoring is recommended. Yeah, so in other words, there's very little going on there. Okay, Pine Meadow, repeated chemical treatment, access, Rock Meadow Pond, concentrate. It says it was treated in 97, 98, 2000, 2001, 2007, and 2011. Remember treatments in 2000, 2001?
Okay,
But what about from a treatment perspective? I remember when Patrick came on, he said that we hadn't been treating our ponds, and I got the impression we hadn't been treating them for 10 years.
I remember one treatment before Patrick came on. I'm not sure which year it was.
No? If these records are to be believed, last one was 2001. Well, he does have information for Pine Meadow, Sandy. Flanagans. Periodic thinning of dense water lilies may also be necessary in some areas to allow for boat access, open water recreation, and to give the bass some open water. Given the pond's shallow depths and history with fan wort and variable milfoil, which can be spread by fragmentation, mechanical methods are not recommended for the control of water lilies.
Takashi, this one's yours. And then,
Okay.
Bonnie, you're going to continue ruining your essay?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Better her than me.
Okay.
That didn't take long.
Well, double
That's
speed.
not bad.
Well, double-sided printing helps.
That's printer, yeah.
Okay. So I'm into field watershed investigation. See, his sections don't line up with his tasks. Okay. Let me zip to the top after we get to the bottom. I'm going to zip back up to the top. And if folks are interested, review through and just ask yourself, if this was my money and I was going to be working with this, is this what I needed to get the job done? Can I use this to determine a budget and therefore go to town meeting and say, hey, I have this fantastic study right here. And according to this study, these are the things we can do to improve water quality in our town and in our ponds. Based on this study, the information put together by true professionals who do this for a living, we need this much money to do these things, and we've broken it up over X years, whatever. That's the goal. Recommended 5-year management plan. Hot diggity. Okay, it's got a whole bunch of tasks at the bottom. Okay, great, great, great.
I'll pull some weeds in my backyard.
Do you mean in the water?
Yeah.
I see.
I would go out there and pull if I was allowed to. Just saying.
Well, you're always allowed to pull weeds.
Hand pull.
Invasives, you're always allowed to pull
Yeah.
invasives.
Yeah.
In fact, you should make it,
Mandatory?
I would call it a light goal.
Mhm.
All right, so,
I pulled the spray out of the freaking pond the other day before it went to seed. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
It's the worst when they're pretty.
I know. It's like people digging and putting them in the front yard.
all right, I would like to review the executive summary, just simply because I have a feeling it's going to be the most contentious. You're welcome. And if it isn't, it certainly will be.
Well, executive summary would maybe be, where is that one?
Would you like it?
No, I mean, I'm thinking that's just like 3 pages. I'm thinking that's a central piece that probably we all should look at.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have water quality sampling. And so I would say that one of our 2 pond residents should buck up over who gets it. Which one of you would like to do water
I'll do
quality
it.
sampling?
I'll do it.
All right. Part of that will involve sending an email to Mark Wetzel to ask him if those are things he does. And of course, making notes, as we've already noted, that in table 1.1 that it's mislabeled.
I went to go see him today, but he wasn't there. It's a conference.
I'm gonna see him on Monday.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a meeting together. So if you get that to him before then, maybe he could
Hmm.
respond in person by then.
Yeah.
All right.
Littleton Fire
Phosphorus
Department
budgets.
stuff.
George, this has you written all over it.
Phosphorus. Okay, so what are you handing out next?
Section 2 is phosphorus budgets.
Phosphorus budgets. How do you budget for phosphorus?
Ah, wasn't that exciting? The idea is that you determine based upon the area that is, if you will, being flushed down into the lowest point, what the predicated phosphorus load will be. So for instance, this is Flanagan's Pond. The green areas are forest, probably not big phosphorus contributors, but the residential and the commercial areas might be. And so he uses that to say, okay, so you're going to be dumping all this phosphorus in, so what now?
As I'm recalling, when we looked at the last draft, there still wasn't, when we planned this whole study, one of the questions we wanted answered about Flanagan Pond in particular was, could we tell what was coming into the pond from fertilizer use? And I don't remember in the drafts we've seen thus far that we had that answer. We had information on that.
Oh, table 2.1
Okay.
tells you Long Pond. That's another thing we've got to correct him. It's not Lower Long Pond. 2.2 is Sandy. 2.3 Pine Meadow. 2.4 simple method calculation of phosphorus load for Flanagan Pond watershed. And they talk about pounds per year from residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, transportation, agricultural, recreation, forest, wetland, transitional, open, and open water.
Wait, which table are you on?
2.4.
Got it.
Goes all the way to phosphorus from
For
septic,
yourself. You gonna make a copy for
No.
yourself?
concentration.
I've got a nice editing software that I've already gotten started on.
Yeah, this is annoying the hell out of me doing it on Google, but
Yeah, if you
No.
want to get Mendeley, it's designed for academic paper review.
So you can,
And so there's
What?
a lot of highlighting and commenting that's very easy to do on top of as you're reading through it.
that's cool.
this takes you all the way to water quality goals, George. I think that's right up your alley. And then section 3, Takashi, is the aquatic vegetation surveys, which you were so excited about earlier. You remember that? Well, as a for instance, in here, they mentioned the existence of those ponds you were so excited about. Those vernal pools.
Precipitation.
All right, and then, so if you can go through the survey.
Yep.
I'm going to take the part at the end where he summarizes and does the aquatic plant management recommendations.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to take that is that I'm pretty positive I'll be the one who says it in front of town meeting. If I were to guess. All right. Brian, thank you for printing those out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a section. Please feel free to read the entire thing, obviously.
What's mine, Bill?
Didn't we give you one?
No.
What? Oh, Jess.
Yes.
Well, you know what's interesting, Jess? Besides your obvious lack of self-preservation. Oh, that's amazing. You just chucked it right out the window.
I did, sorry.
I think Jess should get by. She does the minutes.
Well, you would think so, but if life has taught me anything, if someone is dumb enough to open their mouth after they were free and clear. So
Yeah,
it's-
but George was starting to gesture in my direction.
Was he?
So I decided to take the high road. I was going to get ratted out anyways. might as
That's
well.
not the high road. That's not getting bagged. Well, you're going to love this then.
Okay.
Section 4 is the field watershed investigation. And this is the part where they go through and they talk about, this is right up your alley. There are, 16, I think, or so, areas where they talk about sites where we could do work to stymie runoff. And they have some plans and some ideas in here. So take a peek at those and see if any of them, let's start with, quite frankly, start with the cheapest ones and see if they look good. There's one here for Groveland Street. Is that the one that comes down toward the? I don't remember which one Groveland Street is.
It's off of, Central, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And then should we all look at section 5? 5-year management plan.
Hold on. Well, we should all look at all of it. But
Yeah.
yes.
But
Wachusett Avenue.
That runs down to,
East or west?
see,
Just says Wachusett Avenue.
That's right, there's one that,
Mountain View Avenue.
that's straight for me. so.
yeah, but this would be. Now I'm thinking is it
East.
east?
It's gotta be east.
east.
Yeah.
I don't even recognize it.
Wachusett Avenue East.
It just says Wachusett Avenue, Sandy Pond Watershed.
It's the road right before Mountain View.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
But
way
where's
is
he
way
taking a
towards
picture of there?
Well, what he's suggesting is, so he's saying that untreated runoff from Wachusett Avenue flows along the edge of the road. So one way to stop that would be to do a 36 square foot fire retention cell to collect, infiltrate, and treat stormwater runoff.
At the very bottom.
Right at
yeah.
that corner. So in
Yeah.
other words, keep it from running straight into the pond.
Yeah.
And whatever it was you did about that, I've got that step by step, heart to heart, bit by bit, we all fall down like toy soldiers, so I'm stuck in my head, so thanks for that.
You're welcome. My job is complete. Cross that one off my bucket list.
There you go. I don't remember that girl's name.
Mhm.
Okay. Ooh! He's got a estimate. He's got an estimate for, remember we were saying, could you please give us some feel for how much it would cost to do the stormwater, all those stormwater basin corrections? And he's got a stormwater BMP construction cost estimate table 4.1. Sweet bubbling Moses. It's got one on Oak Ridge Drive that could cost between $10,000 and $12,000. Sedgway has one between 17 and 21 grand. That's a private road, right? Didn't we learn that about Sedgway, Ledgeway, Hedgeway, and
Edgeway.
Hedgeway?
Hedgeway, Edgeway, Ledgeway, Sedgway. Sedgway, yeah, I think Sedgway was private.
Okay, so I agree with Jess. Everybody should probably read Section 5, the 5-year management plan. Ooh, he's got the stormwater in here too. Oh yeah, this is good. This is way more than what we had originally. Excellent. Then the appendix is just broken on. Okay.
So should we invite the Pond and Dam Committee to our next meeting? Or?
I think we should. Well, do we want to discuss this one more shot and then bring them in? But we're only going to meet November and December.
Right.
Well, I think what we should go for the next meeting is that everybody brings in a printout of all of their comments, so we can sort of hash out any of the distinctions between them, if they're all the same, if they're all different, if there's 2 points on the same issue, blah, blah, blah. And then I can, everybody, the 5 of you, whoever chooses to show up from Pond and Dam, can hash it out, we can take some notes, I can have a stack of comments, and, put together some kind of, proper informal, please fix X, Y, Z kind of thing.
So how many weeks are we talking? We're 4 weeks to our next meeting.
Yeah.
Or 3 weeks rather, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so most of a month to do 150 pages of reading and, do 30 or 40 pages of fairly detailed editing and close reading.
Well, why don't we do this? Does it make sense for everyone to submit their information to you? So the week of the 12th, what days are you in the office?
It's the 12th, that's the Thursday, so it would be
Yeah.
11, 10, and 9, 10 and 9 at the end.
Okay. So why don't we all shoot for getting our comments to Brian by 11/9.
And then the same thing would go for the pond committee. To get them to give me their comments by the 9th.
Perfect.
Do you want me to send them that email, or does somebody else want to?
No, probably the best thing is to just tell them, just send them a quick email, say that we're going to be meeting on the 12th, we're looking forward to seeing them. If they have any comments, they should please get them to you before
Right.
on the 9th so that we can distribute one packet of comments and go through everything at the same time. Okay. Anybody have anything else on this draft report?
No, I'll have our,
I'm happy it's better than the last one, that's for sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I have a question. If there is sort of more of a scientific question regarding some of the data, can we call
I don't see any reason you can't. I mean, you know, he hasn't balked yet. I mean, we didn't ask him anything terribly stringent, but.
I think you should probably wait for our meeting because somebody who, you know, maybe it's your section, maybe it's not your section, they may have an answer for you. And then we can answer your question theoretically beforehand. And if it's a real question with a real, like, heart of, like, what is the meat of that, that's a great discussion point to bring up,
Okay,
would be my guess.
okay.
I don't think that's bad advice. I think the problem you're going to run into is that if it's a truly technical question,
Yeah,
we're
we'll
probably
be
not
out
going
of
to
our,
have the answer.
yeah, and then that's just a great question to add to the rest of the questions because
Okay.
we're just out of our depth.
Okay.
We don't really know what it means. They need to represent it in a way that would be clear not just to you, but to everybody else who would then also be confused by the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, where I'm coming from essentially is if you do something like that, and then George doesn't, and George just is as confused as you are,
Yeah,
it gets kind of
yeah. Yeah.
big on George.
Which is good to be.
Oh, I
All
was.
right, I hear you.
Okay. We've come to that part where we're here for Conservation Administrator updates.
All right, we've got all sorts of stuff. So would you like to start with the map or the OECs?
Well, why don't we start with the exciting part? So first off, you were able to get in touch with, obviously, the good folks at, was it the state or was it MACC who recommended that you have them served with the notice?
Let's see, so my conservation agent, Bob Boyce, basically said the state's useless, just get the cops involved. And then I came over and the state left me a voicemail and basically says, yeah, we can't help. You know, we have trouble getting that kind of thing done. So I called the cops and they were like, oh yeah, sure. And the woman I spoke to said, come on over. Then she spoke to her sergeant or supervisor or whoever. And they said, yeah, that's great. We can do that if you want, but we'd really appreciate it if you went through the town constable first. And turns out there's 3 of them.
Yeah, he told me this the other day, to which my immediate response was, we have a constable?
Yeah. Their role in town is like they have to be present at elections. They serve papers. And they do other strange and anachronistic legal things that don't quite reach the level of being a police action, but do reach the level of being a legal something. Like
No. It would be interesting to go through because that's the same thing with like the clerk magistrate. It's not a judge. It's not a, it's not a position of, it's a position somewhere stuck in the middle.
yeah.
Okay, so we served papers to Miss Julie Elmore. Did she say when she was coming in? She's coming in on the 12th?
She wrote me and said, when would you like to see me? And I wrote back and said the 12th. And, that was as of, 3 hours ago.
Okay, so I would accept a motion to pay the constable for serving her $30 for his efforts.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for instigating that.
Hey, learn something new every day I walk in.
All right. Simply because we're doing that, and we've cross-pollinated into accounts payable. What is this sales quote for government TLP Acrobat Standard?
Mm-hmm. So if you recall the conversation where I said, hey, I'd really like to upload some of those reports we have, that many of them contributed to the report in front of you, as well as this report eventually. In talking with Cindy, she was like, yeah, apparently the pro version of Adobe, you can scan the document and it will index it so that it becomes searchable. So that theoretically, if a resident of Sandy Pond wanted to skim through this document, but they only wanted to know about their pond, they could do something like that. And so this is, that's not something I've ever dealt with, but according to Cindy, this is the path to acquire that particular feature.
And it's a $256 path?
Yeah, and apparently it's just like all of Adobe. Like, you just get the package deal and you get the whole thing. So it's that feature and whatever else count. I've never actually used real Adobe.
Would it go on your computer or the town's?
I think it would just go on my computer.
But it's a license, so
Yeah.
effectively, if his computer blew up, you just call him up and you say, my computer blew up. In fact, I'm sure it's the kind of thing they don't even send you, they probably don't even send you a disk anymore.
Yeah, you just
They send you an
download it.
address, and you have to give them a code and download from there.
So that's the purpose of that, would just be backtracking through all these things. I've got one copy of upstairs.
So you can put
It's
that
really
back.
neat, it's really informative. No one is ever going to see it, except perhaps me. And even then, that's a bit of a reach because, let's say Sandy Pond Management recommendations from 1997. It's up there. It's gathering dust, but
Oh yeah, no. Jess was huge on trying to institute some kind of program to scan all that in and get rid of the paper. And I think it makes sense, especially with the idea that
He's making fun of me.
if you can scan it in, then you do have the ability to go back and look for it. And right, so if this gives us the ability to do that and index it as opposed to having to come up with some kind of obtuse naming convention, that's fantastic.
yeah, so that's the idea. And according
All right.
to Cindy, that's what it costs.
Do we have a scanner that you're then going to be able to use to do this?
Yeah,
The one down
machine in
here?
there. I did that for, Jess, help me, the name of the lost conservation easement. Willow Ridge? Willow something? No.
Autumn Ridge?
Autumn Ridge, thank you.
Autumn Ridge.
Yeah, they had some issues where they lost. all-
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went down here and just ran copies and everything, and even ran the plastic photo pages, and I could copy that double-sided, and I read off the whole thing, and I had a little trouble with the engineering drawings and the pullouts that were 11 by 17s that fold in.
Sure.
But other than that, it took maybe 45 minutes. I haven't put it back together yet, but
Is that the only scanner in town? So are you beholden to that scanner to do that?
I would expect so.
Okay. And it shoots it over the network to your machine or to the server in town?
Again, I'm going to talk to Cindy about this, but it appears that I can probably set up a folder on the Z drive and just sort of make that, my home for that kind of thing.
That's why I'm asking, because as soon as you do that, someone will spill a cup of coffee in your computer and will lose it, and then you've lost the documentation and the effort to put in to scan them in. So, okay.
Actually, on that note, also, I'm moving the whole computer to the Z drive.
Perfect.
And then Cindy's actually gonna wipe the computer because that's something she likes to do when employees switch gear. But all of the information on the computer will now be on the Z drive, and so any electronic things, coffee won't impact.
To which I go, a Z drive? We have a Z drive?
Well, if we have a Cindy, we probably have a Z drive. All right.
The Cindy drive.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this. It's $256.03, which sadly I happen to know is what normal Adobe costs now. It's $180 for the regular Adobe, which is not to this level. So does anybody have any thoughts or questions about not paying for this?
Are we nonprofit, considered nonprofit?
Well,
Because you-
Well, we're tax
municipality.
exempt.
We're tax exempt, but we're not municipality.
I mean, because they do offer lower prices.
Well, this is a quote provided to the town of Ayer. I can only assume that this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Is that for government TLP or Acrobat Standard DC 2015? When you said they offer lower prices?
I don't have a price here, but I'm just looking to see who they offer it to.
I know that the regular one, which is the
Libraries.
Adobe Pro, is like $180.
Which software is this? Adobe?
This is the government TLP Acrobat Standard. Adobe TLP.
TLP.
Yeah, I looked that up too, and I found the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know what the difference is between that quote and what Adobe's selling on the web.
Well, I tell you what. Do we think that we're going to lose anything that's upstairs in 3 weeks?
Oh, good Lord, no.
Okay, so why don't we take this, go back to these guys and say, man, that's a lot of money. You want to tell me why I should pay this? And
Yeah.
figure out what the difference is between this and the other Adobe products. And if this is the only one that does the indexing, then that's a really good reason to have it.
The other thing too is you could just, sign off on that, for instance, and I could just recycle it. If we don't use it, I can toss it away. And then if in a week and a half, say,
Well, I guess the question is, I think we'd probably all feel more comfortable if we had some idea what we were voting on as opposed to just voting on the
Yeah.
highest priced one and then throwing it away if we didn't use it.
Plus, actually, I think for paying bills with accounting, we can't sign off on a proposal, we have to sign off on the invoice. I think usually. Check on that, yeah,
Yeah, because this is a sales quote.
yeah, we can't, yeah.
So.
So in this particular
what's the
case, what would-
process here then?
What would happen is that we would agree to buy something,
Mm.
you would buy it, and then we sign off on the proposal. So in other words, they bill us for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So then I'll just have a better chat with Cindy, and if it turns out that the $260 version is the right one,
Well, so hold on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So what we're saying is so now you've turned up a product, we've turned up some questions, come back to us next time with the final product, and we'll go through it, because one of the minor problems that we have is that $256 and our budget are not easily reconcilable. We have to go through and figure out where this is going to come from.
fair enough.
All right, I'm going to pass that down so I don't steal it by accident. Okay. So we talked about Julie Elmore's letter. Parcel special conditions. I'm going to take a 2-second break just to get a drink of water.
Yeah, it's kind of dry in here, isn't it?
I don't know if it's that or all the sawdust I breathed in today.
I feel a little dry.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes with like really sensitive agreements, they give you a couple
Still tastes awesome.
seats, you know, like, it's not one seat, it might be like 3 seats or something, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, it feels like a phone plan where they change the pricing structure often
Yeah.
enough that.
Yeah.
Okay, next one up. We were going to be done at 7:45. We're a little behind.
Oh yeah, so do you want to talk about OC? Do you want to talk about the map?
Well, I love the map, so why don't we start with the map? Although, as we discussed, the map is excellent, but needs to have different shading applied so that it's more simply determinable what's what.
Well, and that was my moping about the crosshatching, John, because you could see through it. It wasn't shaded. It was just lines saying this parcel is so, and then the other line would be the other parcel, and then the crosshatch. It was,
So is there a
both
table that goes with this?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes, but not that I would put on the map.
No. So what I'm saying is that if this parcel here is hatched as being jurisdictional for streams and wetlands, then I should have a piece of paper afterwards that says that when I blow this up, I can see the number 712 on here, and when I blow it up, I can go and look, and 712 is X parcel on X street, and it's jurisdictional in streams and wetlands.
Okay, so this gets to one of the questions I want to ask. The goal eventually for me, I'd like to have a giant poster version of this hanging upstairs. So if somebody came in on an off day with a question like, "Hey, does this apply?" They
Right.
can see there's
There's your house.
bingo.
So yes.
So the concern would simply be and additionally, I'd like to give this to Cindy to post left, right, and center wherever she
Mhm.
has. Do we want, even though this is freely available information, it's available all over the web, you can totally look it up yourself. Do we want to be putting people's addresses up on a map like this that would be as publicly displayable as I can make it?
Well, it's not so much the person's, you're not putting the name up, what you're putting up is the address of the parcel. So it doesn't matter if the Smith family or the Jorgensen family live there. What matters is that 12 Maple Street is subject to the Wetland Protection Act, and if I look in the table, it says it is subject to the Wetland Protection Act because of streams.
Right.
So in that case, you're not advertising the people or their name or anything like that. You're simply saying that this parcel, based on our map, is jurisdictional.
Fair enough. The other half of that coin is that, especially in the places where things are rather lots are small and
Mhm.
tightly packed, it's not going to be a realistic display. The way that, so like the big parcels, the address would fit in, but it would get messy and muddy.
Oh, no. So hold on. So what I'm saying is that, look, you're never going to be able to put the address for this one next to this one next to this one on here.
Right.
What I'm saying is that this is a chart, and so I look and I say, boy, that sure looks like my house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to the table, and on the table it's by street, and it says Maple Street, and it says number 12, number 17, number 18, and it references that parcel.
So you're thinking of it more as a paired display, so there's the one image.
Well, this
and
puts
then
me in the
next to it.
ballpark, so if I live here, I know I don't have anything to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But if I live here, now I go and I look Oak Ridge Drive, oh, son of a gun, I'm number 71, and my parcel does happen to be jurisdictional due to the town's pond, due to the pond. Because this is great, but it's not granular enough for you to then point to it. Because right now, if you point to this and you say, which parcel is yours? And the person says, I don't know, I can't tell which one is mine.
I don't think you can do that.
You don't think you can do that?
No.
Well, if you did this, then there has to be a way to do that.
No. The problem is that that data is embedded in the layer that's on display.
Mhm.
And to pull that up in the manner you're talking about to be that interactive, I'm creating static product. I'm not creating interactive product. And what you're asking for is an interactive feature. And
So what you're saying is that you can draw this box, but you can't tell what it is?
I can, but I couldn't let you know what it is. Like that information is on the Z drive and I'm accessing it through my computer and I can interact with that data because there's several layers of it, but like this is a PDF.
Right.
And I can't embed that much information in the PDF, and like you couldn't mouse over and click on it, and then display
No.
it.
I'm way simpler than that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is you're going to have this up on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and next to it is a sheet of paper
Right. I could
that
do
is
that.
a table. That's what I'm saying.
That I could do.
Which is a table, and you could do an accompanying table to this, because the idea is that this at least puts me in the ballpark to see if I'm in an area.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to the table, and the table
Yeah,
says
the way like at the auto parts store, you look out through your headlight and there's a book like this.
exactly. And you
Yeah,
keep
that could be
flipping to right, and as long as you do it by address, not by name,
Right.
as long as you do it by address, then you can nail it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
Because
do that.
what's interesting is, so I recognize a certain area that's up here, right? I recognize this area that's up here, and it's excellent because I know exactly what we're talking about, and this should pop up.
Mhm.
That those 4 properties are all subject to the act because of a wetland that's up at the top of the hill.
Mhm.
Perfect. So I know that's about where the house is, but if I'm not certain, I go down here and I say, oh, okay, so I live on Smaple Street, and on Smaple Street I'm number 7, and yep, son of a gun, Smaple, I'm subject to jurisdiction from a wetland.
Yeah, that's easy enough. So then from the visual, the
And you
cross-hatching thing.
got to put a date on it. Because as we've discussed so many times, wetlands change. But also, let's say that a builder bought this whole parcel here and filled in a large part of it and did replication somewhere else. That would make the map invalid after his action. Not that we've
Mhm.
allowed anyone to do that level of replication, but it is a possibility.
Well, and I don't know that that's necessarily true because the ground truth, even though this is the most up-to-date data available, this could still be wrong for the exact same reason you say.
Well,
So this might be a not necessarily to scale kind of asterisk at the bottom.
you could say that this is our best snapshot,
Yeah, something to that effect.
or for informational purposes only.
Yeah,
And then the commission, the commission starts with this and then goes forward.
right. Okay.
And the best part about it is then you publish that list and you give it to Gabe. And so
Oh,
now
yeah, when this
Gabe,
gets done, I
right.
intend to send one to everybody.
sure. And then, but the more important thing for Gabe will be the list, because then he can go and if someone comes to him from Maple Street and he says, okay, number 17, yeah, you need to go see the Conservation Commission before we go forward.
Okay.
This is great. Do you like the colors?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd also, as build into your plans, I'd like to suggest that a pointer be made or some kind of an asterisk pointing to you have like a packet or a guide for, how to work with the Conservation Commission.
Yes,
So,
the toolkit.
like the toolkit, so like an RDA
Mm-hmm.
would be, one of the first steps of stuff like that. So they could then logically go, okay, it's jurisdictional, okay, here's.
Oh, I see what you mean, a flow chart.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that, to Brian's point, I don't know that we can make that decision, because part of that also depends on what the project is. So an RDA, because then you'd have to say, well, what are you doing? In order to get to the part of what was the applicable action.
Right. I'm just giving them the avenue, or suggesting that giving them the avenue to the toolkit, or
Sure.
to the Conservation Commission, or to the website,
Right.
the Conservation Commission website.
Well, my guess is that even if we put this on the website, then it would exactly say that at the bottom, right? Addresses and information here are for informational purposes only.
Any questions?
Any questions, please come to the Conservation Commission and request information, further information on how to proceed with your particular project.
And that if you broadcast it far and wide, then, there may be copies at the building inspector or other places, and if it's in the text at the bottom, then people know where to go.
Well, it's especially nice when the building inspector has it, because, as we know over the years, Gabe has come to us and said, these people need to come talk to you. And he's made some really good judgment calls, in some of those cases. And in other cases, maybe it wasn't evident to him when he was on site that there was a need for the same kind of review. So having a list of addresses, if nothing else, puts them in the ballpark in no better way than we've ever given before.
Yeah, and all the offices upstairs, everybody's got that map of the zoning,
Mm-hmm.
and to do something like this
Right?
at the same level would be handy.
Yeah, this is a tremendous start. I'm telling you, put this together with a list of addresses that makes it easy for someone to identify a parcel, particularly someone who has to issue a permit. It's even better.
All right, so then other commentary, other things missing, other than, a long stretch of legalese at the bottom that I'm sure we're gonna edit several times.
No, it's very simple, for informational purpose only,
And the date.
and the date.
The vernal pools, do we want to do any, because all of the confirmed vernal pools in town fall onto a jurisdictional space, but there's a handful over there on the top right that potential vernal pools that are not on otherwise.
Where is that? Is that off behind the gun club?
Oh, and that gets into the other question. This is only taxable parcels.
Oh.
I don't know town well enough to, the layers that are accessible to me aren't, at the moment, as far as I know, every single parcel in town.
No, they wouldn't be. See this big white space here? I bet you that's the town parcel. The town DPW headquarters directly abuts a wetland.
Oh, yeah.
And so I bet this whole area is the town DPW.
So that gets to, do you want me to perhaps try to get a
No,
more
this
complete?
is I would start with this, and then so non-taxable parcels. Wait a minute, could that be the cemetery? Am I in the right street? So here's the center of town. Come up through. Yeah, this is the cemetery. This is
St. Mary's?
Bishop.
that's Bishop. Yeah, so McPherson. So that's the cemetery. It's too big to be the town DPW. But then that means the town DPW is down here and it's listed in the Hatch property.
Well, that's all this.
don't know, I guess that could be it. Is it on that side of Bishop? It is on that side of Bishop, isn't it?
What do you think?
Okay.
I mean, if you saw that, would you read it and understand what was going on?
Yeah, that's gotta be St. Mary's. So what are all these missing puzzle pieces here? Because here's an orange wetland buffer in the middle of a white spot. Is this 2A going out? Is this the airfield?
I guess
That's
the only
gotta
thing
be.
that's difficult is the,
Yeah, well, if this is
everybody looks for
McPherson,
infrastructure.
Bishop,
Right.
that's all.
Yeah.
But,
And that's
Right,
not
keep
things to
going.
put in
Hang a
if
left.
There's enough else going on
yeah,
to, the clutter situation. I could probably.
Have I got that right? Yeah, because this is Tiny's here.
right,
Where's
just,
Tiny?
just the,
It's gotta be right about here.
just the vectors themselves.
Because the road-
Would be helpful.
No, Tiny's be up
No,
here,
Not,
Tiny's would be-
not
somewhere in
all
there.
residential
It can't be that
streets.
far though, is it?
Right.
major ones perhaps.
This is so people know where the roundabout is and they can go from there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So if that's the rail trail,
You can kind of get there by the,
and Tiny's is back here.
by the layout of the parcels and the ponds. Railroad tracks.
But if Tiny's is here, that can't be McPherson.
And that's gonna be hard because it's gonna get into, for some people it'll be great, for some people it'll be
Yeah.
too busy.
Looks that, yeah.
And that one I'm struggling with.
Okay.
Clear enough?
So
Yeah.
there's one thing, Brian. So as we go through it, so I feel pretty comfortable that I have a reasonable idea of where all the streets are, and I'm having a hard time finding my way around. Is there a way on a larger scale to do a major road overlay?
Yeah, we were just having that little chat in the back. The question becomes one of busyness and clutter.
Well, right
And that's a
now,
real
I can't
artistic
tell where
back and forth.
I can't tell where Tiny's is. I made the guess that this was the cemetery, St. Mary's, which actually makes sense by the way that the road is shaped, that this would be McPherson. But then that means that Tiny's is up here somewhere, and I'm just having a hard time figuring out what's what.
Yeah, the idea of perhaps just putting in, the state roads and taking all the labels off, might be enough to help you get the neighborhoods. Maybe the railroad tracks, these things that are fairly straightforward and simple, but
Make
not
it
getting,
easy, identifiers.
yeah, just to point you in the right direction and not getting into the local roads.
Well, even if you identified 2A
Right.
on here, it would be a good start. Okay, I think this is a great start. I think unfortunately you've got to have a little bit more information with roads and things, so it's very easy to tell. This is Flanagan's Pond,
Mm-hmm.
but not to be pedantic, I already knew that everybody on Flanagan's Pond was inside of the buffer zone. That's just a that. But once I get outside of that area, here's a parcel. How do I do better to identify what that parcel is? Now, if I own that parcel, I probably know about where I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
on the town map, but that's what I need that listing for, so that I look at it and I say, oh, son of a gun.
Right, but that'll be, so on that list, what do we want to have? We want to have, address.
You want to have the address of the parcel, but, so I would suggest, everything on here is a book and page, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you have the address, book and page, because that's your reference, is the book and page in town. You have the address, the book and page, and then you have whatever qualitative information is applied to that parcel.
So
Through
whether
here.
it's a stream or whether it's a wetland,
Right.
jurisdictional.
Whatever the jurisdiction is.
When you say book and page, what do you mean?
Assessor map and parcel.
Assessor map?
Oh, that's right, we do part map, yeah, sorry.
So map and parcel.
Map and parcel number.
Okay.
Did you figure it out?
Gotcha.
Okay, moving on. This is excellent.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll keep you busy for a little bit. Finding out if I can get the stream and wetland jurisdiction thing, because that was determined visually. Like I built buffers around those layers and then
Sure.
use those layers to select out parcels,
So it'll be a parcel by parcel process.
perhaps. But
Can parcel
Maybe
out the
not.
task.
I may have a way around that already. Okay, so that's enough to work through. You guys have the suggested OCs from the invasives thing and
Yes.
from the rebuilding the wetlands project.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's sort of longer term homework. The invasives suggestions are sort of easy to integrate by just sort of deleting hay bales and adding, rollable mulch.
Yeah, we've got to go back to that whole part of, it's wonderful to give somebody a suggestion of what to use, but if they can't buy it in the area, it's not quite so effective.
Right.
And quite frankly, I would rather that we do our best to find that first. By a quick call around and find out, can I even get red straw? So Takashi believes that you can get it at what used to be Agway, I don't know what it's called now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's dry straw. Yeah.
Well, and that's my concern, is that if rice straw is not local, it's probably not rice straw.
But these are things that maybe after we go through the pond report to come up with some new language to play with.
Well, here's how you keep us honest. So these are January 14th meeting topics.
Fair enough. So let's see, if that's a January 14th meeting topic, that means when we finish up with November, what if we did November, you have to submit to me by the December meeting
Comments for this.
some comments, some suggested language, some potential ideas so that I can wrap those up, take them somewhere, and then in January come back with something a little more substantial.
Well, the way that we've done it in the past is we typically do that all as a group from a discussion standpoint, and where this isn't as big as the water quality information. This would probably be the kind of thing we could do in a meeting that night. I don't expect we're going to have anything on the agenda in January.
Fair enough.
So, but I like the idea of going ahead if we need to, but for this kind of thing, we'll go through it. We'll go through line by line. You will be amazed and probably a little distraught, but we've done it in the past. I think it's what started Becky on her decision to have a second child so that she could then not work anymore. Tell me I'm wrong.
All right, so we got that down as a January 14th topic.
Yeah, because what'll happen in November is we'll have our group discussion on the assessment of the ponds. We'll end up filling that in and doing more about it in December to get it finalized so that we can then put together working groups to go forward for the town meeting. So that's my guess. We'll spend the entire November 12th meeting doing nothing but the ponds.
Right, and so what I was expecting to come out in
And six
November
right now.
was, all that would happen, and then I would get the stack, and
Yep.
I would take that stack to the consultants and say, here's this, and then whatever turnaround.
Right. Well, and then at that point becomes the next part, which is, okay, now we have a study, now we have these things, so what are we going to take to town meeting? Because if you add up everything that was in that table 5.1 or whatever it was, it's $1.6 million. So we're not going to ask for $1.6 million. So what do you do now?
Fair enough. Okay, cool. And then, let's see, what do we have? We covered Bright Road, we covered that, we covered that. I went out with John the solar project and
Yes.
walked that with him. And we had a chat about the grass, and he was open to the idea of like not doing a turf grass and rather doing a native seed mix. And I got in touch with New England Wetland Plants, figured out what the process would be, and he is going to select a vendor. And after he selects a vendor, he's going to talk to New England Wetland Plants and see about the vendor using New England Wetland Plant and using a native seed mix.
Sounds great.
So it doesn't necessarily have to go this way. It's just sort of an after the fact workaround. And he seemed totally like, oh yeah, that's forward thinking, and why didn't we think of that earlier? And you know,
Because they write down what they write down on every one of them. Let's get that plant, that native grass plant mix, and get that information, and we can make it as a recommendation to folks as we go forward if they're doing non-lawn related.
Well, and that in talking to New England Wetland Plant, they basically make a new recipe for every project.
Of course they do.
Yeah. So it's a little, but if there's a way to say write in, you know, use, you know, this goes to January 14th, you know, as another topic, but a suggestion for, you know, calling them or somebody similar to da 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 da.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, if you're going to have a native plant grouping, it's going to be a native plant grouping, whether it's on the east side of town or the west side of town. So as long as we have a recipe for the west side of town, I'm sure we can use it on the east side of town. So,
But anyway, it was a nice
I
chat.
bet that's something we can talk about and be comfortable about on January 14th as well.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Don't give up 2 months.
The update from Laney was nice. You guys see all the DEP numbers?
Did he email it?
Yeah.
Then no.
Because when I was out at Pingree Hill and I found that erosion violation, and they, you know, I sent that to DeChang and what was it, Steve Mulaney?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, he replied with all of the open DEP numbers and all of the conditions that were currently and that was great. So if you're ever curious, there's a lovely reference there buried in your email. The 2009 forms we were using Takashi.
Before you move on, didn't he also say he was forwarding it on to Rick Roper and Lori
Oh yeah, everybody
Laughlin
got the information.
about the missing DEP numbers or OOC numbers?
So that's sort of.
Did they ever get back to you?
No, that's mine to do on Monday.
Okay.
Is to go for a drive and see, you know,
Rick
I'll give
and
enough time to
Lori.
put up
Thought
a
Lori was
dozen or
gone.
2 dozen signs.
Apparently not.
Well, I would. Good luck with your sign looking, but I would imagine you'll be writing an email when you return,
Fair enough.
just based on past experience.
In that case,
Empirical evidence supports that.
so getting into like, is that something to use stronger language with and to start?
No, we
making
send them
fuss
another
about?
letter and we say, Rick, put the signs up, please. We would hate to have to go and turn this into an enforcement order and force you to come in and visit with us.
And another thing was, I think when, remember when we were told that, is it Prescott? No, Powell. Powell was no longer going to be doing the new projects. Whatever that kerfuffle was, we've stopped getting, I think, the
Updates.
updates from Powell at least.
You would include that in your email.
Supposed to get construction updates.
Construction project updates.
Yeah.
The applicant on the project was replacing his construction company, and then, I haven't been up there in a long time. Is it still Powell up there, Mr. Newton?
They're linking, the Powell equipment still seems to be around, but there are new contractors involved.
Interesting.
And actually,
There's still quite a bit of Powell equipment.
yeah.
But no one's working.
Well, they do seem to be doing some work, so I don't know whether the kerfuffle has settled down, whether or not they've made up, or what. But there still is equipment on site.
So that'll be exciting to find out. Thank you.
And
So I'll write a
actually,
nice letter on
Yeah.
Monday, apparently.
I would send him a quick email that says, and I would copy Steve when you do it, so that Steve's aware.
so the emails to Rick Roper.
Yeah, to
And
Rick.
just before I think we hired you, I had sent them an email saying, you know, and you can look in the send folder
Oh,
shortly before you
for-
came on, to Rick saying,
Missing our updates.
and that, we had heard that they were gonna be working with a new contractor, and we haven't had any updated contact information.
Right.
I don't think, I then lost access to the computer, but
You
kicked
You
rudely
developed a
off.
loss of access to the computer.
I did. I saw it.
All right, 9:25.
Yeah, so that's it, so.
Anything more, sir?
So, I got an email, a generic one, that went out about Emerald Ash Borer, Asian longhorn beetle freebies from the state. I got boxes of things, I brought them over to the library, I got posters, I'm gonna bring those over to the school, that's all great. Is there anything in town where anybody's talking about any of that? Like anything in any plan,
This room is probably the extent.
My house, too.
I would say getting permission to put something downstairs here at Town Hall is probably about as good as it gets.
so,
What about the library?
so the forests
These
are
are
just
just-
gonna
Oh, you
die?
get
I mean, is that the, like, Ayer just is like down with losing all their trees, like?
Well, that's the same thing as saying no one's talking about MRSA and we're all hoping people pass away. No, the answer is, you said, is there anywhere where people are talking about those things? And the answer is no. But you can post them in the public places and see if you can get people to gain acceptance. or
Well, I was
engagement.
thinking more in terms of like, the way there's an open space plan, is there any, like, invasives plan, whether it's, terrestrial, aquatic, moving, animal, bug, bacterial,
I don't
there's no,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nothing
Is
on
that,
any-
is that coming up?
Air.
I've not heard that, but
Takashi,
could-
you guys have anything? I mean, you guys are pretty solid
We
on,
just formed an invasive species committee in Groton, but I have no idea what they're
no,
up to.
no documentation out of there, no.
They just started, so.
Does he know of anybody that they're looking to as a model for anything?
They've met once, so I have no idea what they're up to. So no.
So here's a great plan, and one that we've enjoyed over the years. Mimic. So why don't we wait and see what comes out of what the Groton folks are doing, and see if that's something that folks here are interested in joining up to.
Yeah, it's just because all the talk out of Worcester, losing all their trees. Worcester's not that far away.
That's true.
They're here. They're probably already here. The reality of it is, everything's gonna die, and either get okay with that or start working on it.
Well,
So you think if you have more eyes out there looking,
No, I don't necessarily think anything right now. It's that it's sort of getting to the point of, from a environmental management standpoint, especially from invasives, you just give up ahead of time and you move on to problems you can do something about. And I mean, in a manner of speaking, like the Phragmites, outside the door there, that's burning bush, that's invasive, and that's what somebody walks past on the way into town every day.
well, it's not that invasive, but
That is, yeah, it is.
it is.
Yeah.
Not-
Um, Yeah, it's
Is it-
awful, bad juju. But there's a certain level of it's everybody's landscaping. You just have to let it go, and you have to make the choice of whether or not you're going to sort of set the tone and rip it out and make a point of it and saying, hey guys, we shouldn't be doing this. We should be setting a good example. Let's make a fuss, even though it doesn't actually have an impact on the world around us, and setting the right tone. Or you just let it go and you pick fights that you can win.
well, why don't we start with the fights that we actually have jurisdiction over? So we'll start there, and if we can break into some of these other things, then I think those are good ideas.
All right, so wait and see. Tell those guys we're waiting on them.
Mr. Chairman, I think you've already taken a step toward that this evening with the discussion around the rice straw and trying to eliminate the hay, because personal experience, the hay does introduce some awful stuff. And by taking those steps within your jurisdictional area and trying to find out where you can recommend folks or what alternatives there are to hay bales, I think it's a great step in the right direction.
Well, and you know, the other part of that is, again, it's the same idea though, right? So rice straw sounds like a fantastic idea, but if it's not commercially available, then it isn't gonna happen. So
If the
we need to come up with a
bloom-
solution that works.
Yeah, if the bloom,
The bark mulch.
The
Right.
mulch, you know, if it's only rice straw, then we've got a problem, but if it's other straw that would come from a wheat field or something
Well,
like
it used
that,
to be
there's still,
salt marsh hay
yeah.
was the idea. You could use salt marsh hay.
Mm.
But then you had to find somebody who sold salt marsh hay. There's a pragmatism, unfortunately,
Yeah.
involved,
Right.
where there's an ideal, and then there's the ability to deliver on that ideal.
Right.
Which gets back to Brian's point,
Yeah, giving
Setting the
before you
tone.
start.
and then real.
Yeah, so one of the things that I got in that kit were tree tagging kits,
Mhm.
where I'm gonna see if I can talk to maybe some high schoolers and get them out in the woods and go tag some trees and use the kits and, you know, see if I can get any moss growing on a rolling stone, so to speak.
Well, find yourself a teacher so that you can have
Yeah.
a year-to-year process.
Yeah, well, yeah, that
Yeah.
whole conversation game hasn't begun, but it's gonna. In the same vein, the water chestnut that's brought up in this report,
Yep,
I
Grove
talked
Pond.
to the National River folks, and they basically said, we would love to train and teach and guide. We do not have the capacity to do this at all. We're too busy on the river. If we want to get the water chestnut out of Grove Pond, it's going to come from this room. And it's a kayak job. It is still at an early detection, rapid response kind of phase, according to what's in that report. The seed bank is in the ballpark of a dozen years for water chestnut. And if we don't get on it, it's going to get into every pond, and then we're going to have to poison every pond.
Does it go upstream?
Birds, amphibians, critters, all of the usual four-legged vectors.
Interesting.
Boats, you know, I don't nobody knows really goes and grow pond boating, but they can pick it up and move it too. It's, I mean, that's how it got there to begin with. It didn't come downstream because all the streams are clean.
Right. So it came off somebody's boat.
Yeah, or goose.
Is it surface primarily, or does it have a root system down into the
Both.
into
It's
the
a
muck?
floater.
It's but does it
Yeah,
get
and
down to
then-
the muck?
Yeah, and so you've got to uproot them and trash them and compost them. There's a whole process.
Is there? I mean, that's a heavy metal laden
Right.
Oh, yeah.
system. So
It's as bad as it gets.
so
Right.
where would that have to be like? I mean, where would you unload them?
We can figure that out later. That's the easy part, relatively speaking. Finding enough kayaks.
Does the
Now,
root-
Memphis can-
No, because if
Yeah,
it's
hold
a
on,
heavy
hold on.
metal,
Yeah.
Do the roots come with it?
yeah.
If the roots come with it, then you're effectively talking about creating a biohazard when you remove it.
Mm-hmm.
No, like you can't take it out of the water.
Well, yeah, well, there's always
But it-
workarounds for that kind of thing. In terms of getting the right kind of bags, getting the right kind of permits ahead of time, you know, there's ways. I mean, they clean up Superfund sites. They dispose of that kind of stuff in manners. There's ways to figure that out. And
Yeah, it costs about $1 million a root. So,
Maybe the best thing for us to do is to reach out to these folks, to Geosyntec, ask them if they have any experience with that. So as part of our follow-up, we'll ask them. You're right, you mentioned the water chestnut at Grove Pond. So one of the reasons that they said not to chop up the water chestnut at Grove Pond, or to chop up water chestnut period, is because you propagate the other weeds that are in the pond. But in this case, we don't care.
Right.
So I wonder if you chop up the water chestnut in the way, remember Frank mentioned, were you here for those discussions?
like
Sorry.
on-site disposal.
So, no, what Frank talked, one of the prior selectmen was part of the group that probably is actually responsible for much of the weeds that are in Flanagan Pond right now, because they used a machine with a beater brush to chop up the water chestnut. Or the multiple discussions. Why can't volunteers just do this? Why are we paying anybody to do this work? Why, I remember, well, we used to drive around the boat and chop up the weeds, and the kids all took turns in the boat, et cetera, et cetera. That method is terrible for the milfoil and some of the other items that are in the ponds that we're worried about. But in Grove Pond, if what we're trying to do is drive out the water chestnut without making a greater biological hazard, and at the same time, we really don't care if it sponsors the growth of more milfoil, where's it gonna go? Then maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe that's the best way to deal with it, where you mow it, for lack of a better expression, in place and kill it off that way.
Does that kill it?
Oh, that was the idea, was it, you could chop the top off of water chestnut and kill it, but if you chop milfoil up, it just falls somewhere else and grows again.
Mm.
So in this case, the place, it's already choked with milfoil. I don't know that you could make it any worse, but if you killed the water chestnut with the idea that that way it doesn't spread, then maybe that's a better option. And again, because I'm thinking of the same thing that Takashi's thinking of. So I've had some unfortunate experiences with remediation, and it seems like it just doubles in value every single year. So whatever you did last year costs more and more every single year to get rid of, and I have no idea why. In this particular case, we would probably have to take the material out, find a staging area. It would then have to be tested so they could figure out exactly what they were dealing with, so that then they could tell you what it would take to get rid of it and how much it would cost. So you'd literally be building up a pile of things for them to then tell you what you owed. There's no way to budget for that. There's no way to understand what we're getting ourselves into. And now that it's on the grass in bags, you own it. And if it's $1.6 million to get rid of it, it's $1.6 million. So my concern about that kind of thing is you're dealing with some really horrible things at the bottom of that pond. And extracting those roots and putting them in a place where you are then responsible for them, that could be pretty terrible.
Yeah, and you know, some plants are great at picking up heavy metals and some plants aren't. And there have been discussions where, like, knotweed, for instance, is really good at picking up heavy metals, and they were actually talking about planting knotweed in soils that had all sorts of nasty things in it, and then harvesting the knotweed as a way to bioremediate.
Mm.
And
George, you're not weed.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway, so yeah, no, I think that's a good question, both for the NWRA folks and maybe even the folks in the SISMA and the SUASCO, because you know they deal with the biology question of, can you just chop it? Like, you go in every 2 weeks, you chop off the head, and you just starve it out and don't give it the time to create
Right.
a new seed.
stop it from photosynthesizing.
Because the game really is, the seed bank is so long-lived that you don't want to, say, make new seeds and then chop the head off and then drop a new seed down. That's just, right.
Right.
Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, there's a question for the amount.
Well, I'll put it this way. So we know that the other weeds that are in there are in all the other ponds. The water chestnut is the only one that we're looking at that is specific to Grove Pond.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the only one that, I don't know, I rate it higher in terms of scariness, for what it's worth. All right, so then all that, let's assume we get all that dealt with. We still are going to need to organize, trainings for people to help in bodies, assuming that people want to get in kayaks and go out there and work, and so that's going to have to, the river folks already said, hands off, we can train you, but
Let's get to the solution part first, because we're dealing with a very specific, very bad pond. So let's start there first, because I can't help but think that picking that material and taking it out of the pond is going to be the very last option, the final last option. Because once you take it out, you own it.
well, I suppose I'm envisioning it as a fork. We have to have the solution, but we also have to have the volunteer bodies, and I feel like that might take a longer time to solve than the process.
Well, I agree, but what are you going to tell them they're going to do?
You don't have to tell them specifics. You can just say, "Hey, we're looking for
Let's
help
move on.
cleaning
Let's-
up
let's
your
move
pond." Anyway, so the future dates are settled. Got that all taken care of. I picked up a layer from one of the guys in the state that has every NOI in town with its DEP numbers geospatially set up. They don't generally make that available publicly because they update it weekly. And so in terms of getting a map very much like this, with all of the completed or uncompleted, pick your issue, I gotta start on it with DP numbers and NOIs.
The incomplete would be the place to start, by age, because we go back and we say, it's a lot like what we were talking about tonight, where they owe a survey plan, an as-built plan at the end of the project. So at that point, you go to the person who lives on 17 Maple Street, and you say you have an open order of conditions. You're either going to come down and extend your order of conditions, which means you're going to put your hay bales out, etc., or you're going to close it out. So which would you like to do?
But that, the game that I'm going to play with that is probably bring in some kind of table with all of the categories that, will populate this new file and see, and we'll go forward and then slowly backfill somehow, because I'm sure there's all sorts of, I'll never finish that job. Give me 10 years, it won't be finished.
I think you can do better than that. I mean, let's face it, it's all on the state website right now.
Well, are you sure?
Yeah.
On the state web, what do you mean?
On the state website, it shows every order of condition for this town. You can go right back on the state website and look them up.
Which one?
DEP did it before.
Because the fellow I talked to said that the only stuff they track is the NOIs with DP numbers. Their information doesn't go any further.
Sorry, I should say NOIs only. You're right. It doesn't do RDAs, but RDAs don't have certificates of compliance. So NOIs, and all the NOIs are on the state website.
Right, and I've got that.
Right.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's a case of saying, so we issued 100-001. Can I find the certificate of compliance? We issued 100-002.
Right, and
even if you just started 10 years ago, you'd be just fine. You'd be surprised how many are probably still open from 10 years ago.
well, yeah, eventually we'll be able to show that. But anyway, if you feel like doing any typing, feel free to come visiting. And then conference. I don't know, any highlights you want to?
Well, they started out telling us, what was it, 28% of all right-wing replications succeed.
28%.
Yeah.
My favorite number was 12% never get done, and they get their certificates anyway.
Yeah.
Huh. That's disappointing.
Yeah, poor oversight to say the least.
Yeah.
What else? That was the good presentation. The first two
Yeah.
were fantastic. After lunch, there was no reason to be there.
And lunch wasn't that good either.
I actually was impressed. I thought it would be a lot worse.
Good food in the spring.
But really, I mean, the highlight is what I printed out for you, I think.
Yeah, I think there's some other things we can add before you get to construction about analyzing the wetland. It's going to be replicated, determining its purpose, and coming up with a design report. So.
And they did send out the link, so I downloaded all of the material. So if anybody's actually curious, if you want to see everything, I pulled it. So all in a very similar format with the slide on top and the notes from the speaker below.
Excellent.
And that's what I've got.
Wonderful. CPC?
Nope, nothing new. We haven't met since our last meeting.
All right. Open space?
Haven't met for a while.
Greenway?
Nothing.
Pond and Dam, we'll see in 3 weeks. Stormwater. Is anything going on with stormwater at all?
I'm gonna be in a meeting on Monday. Somebody over in Littleton is bringing over like a sustainable water management plan from their fire department, and because it's a shared stream that forms the boundary, they wanted to come to our fire department, and so Mark is also going, and so Mark invited me, and I'm gonna go and see what they have to say about all this, and I'm gonna have a chat with him at some point there and try to hand off the mill rate of stormwater related files that I have that I'm not gonna use.
Yeah, that started like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and we'll see what comes of that. If he, takes the conversation further, if he says, hey, thanks, shakes my hand, and off he goes to whatever else is, his Monday.
Well, it all depends, it's like anything else. The stormwater is a money thing more than anything, so. But that's that. Did we miss accounts payable? We paid for
The
the
constable.
constable. Was there anything else? Any other bills? Newspapers, anything?
No, I mean, this week was pretty
Cheap.
dry.
Cheap?
Oh, you have one thing, my reimbursement. for-
Whoa!
Hey, sneaking in at the end. And actually, Jess, you have the new timesheet, and if you want to make any comments about that,
Yeah,
if you like the way it's laid out, whatever. That's
this is what they're doing.
they're trying to sort of standardize the timesheets for everybody in the building.
Before we go too far, because it's George's money and that matters. I would accept a motion to pay George his $95 for his member fee as listed carefully on this falsified document about some conference. It looks real enough. I would accept a motion to pay George his $95.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can't believe you voted for your own money. All right.
So that goes to accounting.
Yeah, I'm just going to put those two things over in the box,
Yeah.
I think, now.
Do you have any member updates, Jess?
Yeah. Can't talk and write my name at the same time.
That's
You just did.
So, just because Brian's been rather busy, and it took me 3 minutes to do our meeting dates for.
Oh, you don't have one, Jess.
Took that one.
Okay.
For
Do you have
our
enough?
2016 meeting dates,
Hold on.
just for review.
There we go.
And keeping to the second and fourth Thursday of every month, that would eliminate one of our November ones next year. And whether you wanted to include December 22nd as a possibility or not.
I'm just checking birthdays.
Yeah.
Best deal day. Best deal day,
Bastille, which one is that?
July 14th.
Which one was Bass Aluminum Day? Is that the 28th? So, none of my kids' birthdays hit this list, so far so good.
What do you feel about December 22nd?
I feel that it's a bad move all day long. What do you feel about December 22nd?
I'm neutral.
I'd prefer to have a meeting on Thanksgiving. I could care less about that. But December
I would-
22nd is
yeah.
just lousy.
Okay, so why don't we just not put that one on
There we
and
go.
just go with our, if we had any pressing urgencies, we could always add something in.
Well, what's wrong with our Thanksgiving meeting?
I won't be here.
Somebody doesn't like football.
Yeah, really, what's your problem with cranberry sauce?
Okay, so.
Thanksgiving's all done by 7 o'clock at night. By then, it's usually the Crappy Cowboys game, and there's nothing to stay home for.
Okay, second,
Taking a nap at that point.
can we give Brian the okay to contact fire chief after November 1st? to say,
Absolutely.
remove the boards from Balch Dam for the year.
Which should hopefully lower Flanagan's Pond and bring up a whole new rash of complaints.
Oh, it's.
Is there enough
low.
left in Flanagan's Pond to lower?
No.
Well, it's an actual question.
Can I go pull weeds when it's lowered? Can I go out
Absolutely.
there
You'll be able to
and
see them. You'll be able to see
Just,
them.
yeah, I'm gonna yank everything out of there.
Just pull everything right out.
We did
Neighbors, bodies.
We did hear from
Maybe
town
it's
council about whether
Huh?
Maybe
Ayer
it's
should
fine, it's not
respond
very-
to the supplemental briefing order.
Yeah, we saw that. Don't do anything.
Okay,
Yep.
so we don't do anything, and we're not doing
Oh,
anything on
everybody-
the consultant
Yep.
bylaw that's being eliminated.
Yeah, I saw the explanation.
Yeah, and I guess it arose because of some issues with the planning board and board of selectmen, so
Oh.
they have decided that we don't need it and it's better not to have it.
Sure.
Um,
Wait, planning board or the bylaw?
Bylaw.
I see.
I did have a call from a reporter asking questions about Pine Meadow Pond
I sent it to
conservation
you.
land. He sent it to me and wanting the new paper is The Voice, and I gave her George's. Did you talk to her?
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Okay. For some of the more deep history of it, which I don't know, and somebody on the historical commission probably would know more.
It's really not that deep.
And then finally, David Marr, who's
Yes.
he's leaving as of Friday.
Oh, no
He's
kidding.
moving
Technically,
down.
today was his last day. It's done.
Technically, today is his last day. So a party was.
No cake tomorrow?
No, they
There's a
had
little bit left.
they had a
Like
party.
half a slice strawberry cake. It's
They
good.
had a party last week, which I found out about a couple days in advance. And
Was there a rare De Silva Condi sighting?
a rare De Silva Condi
Isn't that nice?
So they
and-
partied till 10:45.
a De Silva Condi sighting when she saw I was taking a picture.
Yeah, there you go.
So I just thought I would share that.
Perfect.
So are they gonna maybe hire a real town planner?
Jeremy on Tuesday was saying something like, because he's sort of, on his automatic response from planning board is he's, not doing some things anymore because he also tried to see if he could get paid for doing the office stuff.
Mm.
Ran into the same thing that I did. But he said it's a little bit up in the air now that David's leaving, what they're going to decide to do about whether they want to
How to
have a
fill the
planner, so there's a little fluidity, or things are going to maybe shift and change. But right now, I mean,
Is
I mean,
there
they've-
is there an advertisement right now to fulfill his position?
no, because they're thinking about what they want to do.
Okay. Well, no. Say
Yeah.
so. So we've heard that they're thinking about stuff, and yet they are moving forward with a plan. So it sounds like they're actually not moving forward because they actually are thinking.
It might be that case.
That's all I was heading for.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Hopefully they don't think too long.
Well, they'd have to have something thought through for
If-
Springtown meeting if they want to do salary line items,
Right.
reinstate planning board for something.
Mhm.
Which is quite a ways away.
Mhm.
6 months. 7.
Mhm.
It's never quite as far as you think, though, when you get closer to wanting to put things on a warrant.
Anything else?
No.
Wonderful. So how was the nice lady for Pine Meadow Pond?
Very nice.
Any questions that came up about our part of it, or was it more historic about why there was a Pine Meadow Pond?
Yeah, why, and when.
Mm.
Was it Erskine? No. Who was the fellow who built the dam in the first place?
It was the Erskines, I believe,
Mm.
originally.
Was it Erskine's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was thinking Erskine was on the other side of
They-
town, but
They owned the whole property along
right,
Flanagan's.
because they were the ones who lost it. Right.
And wasn't that dam, the Pine Meadow Pond Dam, weren't they going to try cranberries?
Right. That was one of the first stories we
Oh,
heard.
yeah,
Was the
yeah,
first
yeah.
question. The first thought
Yeah.
was cranberries for that
Yeah.
area.
Right.
I went to the water department today because it needs to be cleaned out. It's really getting really gross.
Oh, the dam?
Yeah.
Well, so the only concern about that is in the past, the water department and the town have cleaned out dams with a machine, and that's why we've had some issues in the past with,
Oh, really?
yes.
Not
you know,
by-
It's not done by hand.
Hmm. Hmm.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Oops.
Mm, yeah.
Beaver dams that were cleaned out on the Long Pond Dam?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a day last week when I happened to be walking my dog to the Long Pond Dam, and a car was driving down.
Didn't you have your turn?
Hmm?
Go
I
ahead.
did, but yeah. Doug Jasperson from the Highway Department
yeah,
and some other people were in it, and so I was then thinking, oh, what if they're going to go clean out the dam and we've got a beaver deceiver there? And so I went trotting back, and no, they were meeting with somebody from the state, from the dam. It looked like a dam inspection or something, so.
It's
And it
inappropriate.
would clearly be intruding, so I hightailed it. As long as I ascertained they wouldn't be touching our deceiver, I fled.
Let them get on with their dam inspection.
I let them get on with their dam inspection.
You sounded very official when you said ascertain.
Yeah.
And dam inspection never stops being funny. Anything else, sir? Mr. Todd?
No.
Still, it's
Can I ask one question?
of course.
Historical, how was so what monies were used to buy the Pine Meadow Conservation Area?
Actually, you can't ask that question. That's a 20-minute discussion. But the
Uh-oh.
long story short is there were no monies used to buy it. They ended up, correct me if I'm wrong, it was part of a tax
Tax default.
and so the town ended up taking it was a taking for the property.
Okay,
Except for the little 5-acre.
Right, where
that
the
you
house
get-
and the barn are.
Yeah, where you get into it from Oak Ridge now. That was a Tooker property. We did buy that. So it was a few
I
years
think it
ago.
was like, what, 200?
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
135.
Yeah.
So did that money come,
125.
That was CPC.
plus all the other
CPC?
expenses.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so CPC money?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
No.
Wasn't it?
No, the first property was given to the town because they
Tooker.
owed tax money.
No, the
Tooker was CPC
That's
funds.
what, that was,
I
that's
see.
what.
Okay,
Just the
Tooker was
Tooker.
CPC.
Tooker was-
5.3 acres
Yes.
was Tooker,
okay,
and that was in 2009.
okay.
That's all I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
saying just that.
Didn't I say this would be a 20-minute discussion? Mike, citizen concerns?
None this evening, thank you.
Well, I think we had an excellent meeting, as long as there's nothing else. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.